Chapter 350. Deep Space Battlefield, Rune Seed Divine Power. What, the Saint Child might have encountered danger? Lei Kang's body trembled slightly, with flashes of lightning arcs all over him, as if on the verge of going mad. Lu Yun was the Saint Child of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, a prodigy that had never appeared in Spirit Martial Prefecture, let alone Ling Province. Dean Yixingchen and the entire academy held high hopes for him. Furthermore, to ensure his safety, the Dean had personally accompanied him as the #1 person under the Rune Seed realm in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Now, a disciple informed him that the prodigy with the highest hope of ascending to the Golden Core and even reaching the celestial human realm in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy might have fallen under the self-destruction of a peak Golden Body realm expert. As a cultivator who had condensed a rune seed, he naturally knew the power generated by the self-destruction of runes, especially the combined self-destruction of a dozen runes, whose power was no less than the full-strength strike of a rune seed realm expert. Lu Yun, with his monstrous talent and unparalleled combat prowess, had once fought alongside them against a 6th-rank seed beast at its limit. However, his realm was nothing more than the origin fluid realm. Could he have survived the self-destructive explosion of the runes? Lei Kang shook his head faintly, staggered back a few steps, and his face turned dark like water. Even the joy of successfully condensing a rune seed and advancing to the half-step rune seed realm had vanished in an instant. Seeing Lei Kang's performance, the people of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy all had a grim expression, as they understood what Lu Yun meant to the academy. The title of Saint Child was not just a title, but also an honor and the pride of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. 36 prefectures in Ling Province, 36 martial academies, and there had never been a Saint Child before. Lu Yun was not only the first Saint Child of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, but also the first Saint Child in the history of Ling Province. Such a Lu Yun had tremendous significance to the Flying Spirit Martial Academy and was the hope for its rise. Among the crowd, Bailey hesitated for a moment, but he finally came forward and bowed to Lei Kang, saying, "Elder Lei, after that Cloud Sea sect expert self-destructed, we checked the scene and found no traces of Senior Brother Lu. Based on Senior Brother Lu's strength, it is impossible for him to have perished so easily. It is highly likely that he was severely injured and is now healing in an unknown corner." Upon hearing Bailey Yi's words, a glimmer of light, the light of hope, appeared in Lei Kang's eyes. He hurried forward and grabbed Bailey Yi's shoulder, full of excitement and surprise, and said, "What did you say? There were no traces of Lu Yun at the scene?" Seeing Lei Kang's unusually excited reaction, Bailey Yi felt a bit overwhelmed but eventually nodded heavily. "After Senior Brother Lu encountered the incident, I searched thousands of miles around but only found the broken limbs and remains of that Cloud Sea sect expert. However, I did not find any trace of Senior Brother Lu." "Good, very good, excellent." Lei Kang said "good" 3 times in a row, his face regaining its calmness as he analyzed steadily. Even the self-destruction of a half-step rune seed realm expert wouldn't be enough to leave no trace of a martial artist with golden body realm peak battle prowess. Since you didn't find any traces of Lu Yun, it means that he is fine. However, to prevent unexpected changes, we must find him as soon as possible. Immediately under Lei Kang's arrangement, the members of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy were divided into 2 groups to search for Lu Yun. Of course, in the end, they found nothing, even after searching for tens of thousands of miles. But the more it was like this, the more at ease Lei Kang felt. If they couldn't find him, it meant that the possibility of Lu Yun being alive was greater. Just then, he suddenly felt a strong storm brewing, and a human-shaped ferocious beast fell from the sky, landing heavily beside him. He stared blankly and saw Lu Yun, dressed in a purple-black star robe, looking radiant and vigorous. Looking at his appearance, his spirit and strength had greatly improved from before, and he was in peak state, as if he could easily crush a powerful 6th, rank sea beast with just a casual move. There were no signs of having been severely injured at all. If not for seeing that Lu Yun's aura was still lingering in the origin fluid realm, he would have thought that he had already advanced to the golden body realm. Even so, he was more amazed by Lu Yun's solid foundation and monstrous potential. Just being in the origin fluid realm had already given him, a half-step rune seed realm expert, such an astonishing feeling. If Lu Yun really entered the golden body realm, how terrifying would he be? Senior brother Lu. Seeing Lu Yun descend with a domineering presence, and appearing unscathed before their eyes, Bailey Yi's joy was evident on his face. "Greetings, Saint Child." The people of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy all showed happy and shocked expressions as they looked at Lu Yun. "Haha, why are you all looking at me like this? Do I look any different from before?" Lu Yun laughed and waved his hand, then looked around at the crowd of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, quite satisfied. "Not bad, everyone is safe. This is the best outcome." The Flying Spirit Martial Academy's team originally had 14 people, 4 Golden Body Realm Elders, and 10 disciples with exceptional talent. In the battle at Black Mountain Sect, an Origin Fluid Realm disciple had unfortunately died. In this battle with the Cloud Sea Sect, no disciples died, and after this fight, everyone had made some progress. Among them, Bai Haoshuan and Gu Yuan had progressed further at the transforming Origin Realm peak. As for Qiuguyun, he could step into the Golden Body Realm at any time, but in order to solidify his foundation and better develop his potential, he had been deliberately suppressing his realm. Even so, an 18-foot Yuan high was already his limit. Chapter 351. Deep Space Battlefield, Rune Seed Divine Power _2 in the core area of the White Mountain Domain, where the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi was the most dense, with spirit veins crisscrossing, there even laid the legendary land of Dragon Veins. This was the territory of the overlord of the White Mountain Domain, the White Lotus Sect. Outside the core region of the White Lotus Sect, gigantic warships were displayed. On the plains, within the mountains, and between the canyons, a large number of martial artists were engaged in fierce battles. Simultaneously, in the vast depths of space, those in the Rune Seed realm and above were fighting. The power of each strike could shatter hundreds of miles of the void, with the destructive force sweeping towards the infinitely bright deep space like relentless waves. This was the battlefield where the warriors of the Far Suppression Legion and the White Lotus Sect clashed. The White Lotus Sect, even if not the very top among the 100 sects, was of the second tier, possessing formidable strength. Even under the full force attack of the main force of the Far Suppression Legion, their realm of influence had not been much reduced. "Hong Xingwu, you are no match for me, embrace your demise." Hong Xingwu, one of the Earth-rank demon extermination generals of the Far Suppression Legion, who possessed great strength and was in the late stage of the Rune Seed realm. The one engaging him in battle was a strong figure from the White Lotus Sect. Amidst the empty deep space, a destructive gale suddenly arose, and within a moment a wave of runic shock formed out of thin air, crushing towards his opponent. In the face of this situation, Hong Xingwu's expression remained steady. With a wave of his hand, a similar storm of runes emerged. The collision of these two ultimate forces created an incredibly powerful storm. In front of this storm of runes, all residual waves dissipated. "Wu Mahong, the only one who will fall in this battle is you. The White Lotus Sect will also ultimately be destroyed." While speaking, Hong Xingwu employed his Rune Seed divine ability, and the sky within 100 miles suddenly turned into a sea of runes, giving birth to multifarious visions. In the instant he closed his eyes, the deep space instantly fell into silence, with a colossal object taking form within it. A Rune Seed divine ability. Observing the changes in deep space, the strong White Lotus Sect member Wu Mahong's expression changed. Once a Rune Seed realm powerhouse condensed to Rune Seed, refined tribulation power, they had the chance to develop their unique Rune Seed divine ability. However, not every Rune Seed Realm powerhouse could create their own Rune Seed Divine ability. Some might develop their Rune Seed Divine ability only in the late phase of the Rune Seed Realm. Others, even reaching the limit of the Rune Seed Realm, could not develop their own Rune Seed Divine ability. Moreover, the higher the quality of the condensed Rune Seed, the greater chances of developing a Rune Seed Divine ability. The potential power of the Rune Seed Divine ability would thus be stronger. Based on the current momentum created by Hong Xingwu, it could be seen that his Rune Seed rank was not ordinary, and the potential and power of his divine ability were extremely frightening. Having realized this point, Wu Mahong did not dare to be negligent. He had not yet developed his own Rune Seed Divine ability. However, he had other resources available to fight against Hong Xingwu's Rune Seed Divine ability. Immediately after, Wu Mahong, the strong White Lotus sect member, released his Rune Seed. 75 law runes surrounded his body, and the void behind him exploded, as if something were about to emerge from it. Soon, a white light appeared. The next moment, a White Lotus platform emerged and blossomed. In the all-consuming darkness, the White Lotus gradually bloomed and expanded, radiating a sanctified light, blanketing the sky, and ruthlessly pressed down on Hong Xingwu. Looking at the abrupt appearance of the White Lotus platform, Hong Xingwu lifted his head towards the sky. A glimmer of cold light flashed in his eyes, directly smashing onto the magnificent White Lotus. The impact of two formidable powers set off terrifying aftershocks in the deep space once again. Subsequently, the White Lotus platform continued to bloom, 1 petal, 2 petals, 3 petals. The more petals that bloomed, the more intense the sacred light it emitted, and the more powerful the suppression force it generated. When the White Lotus platform had 7 petals bloomed, the sacred light shone to the extreme, and its suppressive force even enclosed a 1,000-mile deep space area. A mere subsidiary body dares to suppress me, Hong Xingwu sneered. The power of the Star River coursed around him, as if a vast galaxy encircled him. Finally, the endless Star River power crazily surged into his body. With the Rune Sea he incited rising unstoppably, something enormous about to emerge from the void abruptly leapt out. It was a 100-foot peak, covered in runes, resembling an indomitable fortress, radiating strong gravitational force, causing slight distortion to any light passing near it. Subsequently, the 100-foot-high peak swept out and heavily smashed onto the Lotus platform with 7 petals. The explosive force erupted, and the Lotus platform cracked open. As the 7-petaled Lotus platform shattered, Wu Mahong, a strong man from the Cloud Sea sect, seemed to have been backlashed, his aura suddenly weakening. However, he had no intention of stopping. The runes around him flickered again, and the shattered Lotus platform reformed in the void. This time, he focused all the power of his Rune Seed onto the Lotus platform, making it even more robust, its sacred light further intensified, and the suppressive force more terrifying. Boom, 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 the clash between the two caused ripples in deep space. Beneath them, many martial artists at the half-step Rune Seed Realm and Golden Body Realm didn't dare to fight anymore, gradually moving the battlefield downwards to lower altitudes and even to the ground level. On board a gigantic battleship, the top powerhouses of the Far Suppression Legion were silently watching this battle. Among them, many were at the Rune Seed Realm, including those stronger than Hong Xingwu. However, none of them intended to intervene, because the time for an all-out war had yet to come. Hong Xingwu is worthy of being a martial artist who has condensed a top-grade Rune Seed. He has even developed Rune Seed Divine ability, which makes us envious seeing that rune-covered, 100-foot-tall giant peak. Many Earth-rank demon extermination generals in the Far Suppression Legion were deeply shocked. Even the most potent among them were nodding slightly. Rune Seed Divine ability requires both talent and opportunity. Not all who have condensed a top-grade Rune Seed can develop their Rune Seed Divine ability. Only those monstrous figures who have condensed a superior rune seed stand 100% chance of developing divine ability. Furthermore, according to the current situation, Hong Xingwa's rune seed divine ability is quite powerful and appears to have great potential. One can say that with a top-grade rune seed and rune seed divine ability, Hong Xingwu is almost invincible in the late stage of the rune seed realm, and even strong enemies at the peak of the rune seed realm may not suppress him. However, Wu Mahong from the White Lotus sect is not simple either. The Lotus platform he is controlling is the subsidiary body of a White Lotus sect sacred item, the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus. Being able to bloom 7 petals, it can suppress most of the martial artists in the rune seed realm. If it wasn't for Hong Xingwa's exceptional talent, formidable combat power, and possessing a powerful tool like rune seed divine ability, he might have been suppressed. The 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus is an outstanding sacred object, well known even among the 100 sects. One possessing rune seed divine ability, the other commanding a terrifying sacred subsidiary object. Their fight can't determine the victor yet, but their strength can be measured. Obviously, external objects are always external objects. Wu Mahong was finally beaten until his lotus platform shattered again, and even the light emitted by the runes was no longer as intense. Seeing this scene, the many strong men of the White Lotus sect all wore unsightly expressions. Although Elder Wu is in the late stage of the rune seed realm, he can't fully control the power of the 7-petal 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus subsidiary body. Otherwise, how could he be beaten so dispiritedly by that Earth-rank demon extermination general? A peak rune seed realm strongman said coldly, with none of those around him speaking. Anyone could see that Elder Wu Mahong had done his best and even used the power of his rune seed to add to the 7-petal 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus subsidiary body, only for it to be blown away. This only proves the horrifying strength of the demon extermination general from Morijin. Think about it, every martial artist who's developed rune seed divine ability is a prodigy with heavenly talent. Each one has the ability to fight above their level. Elder Wu Mahong can hold out until now is already pretty good. If another late-stage rune seed realm elder were sent, they might be defeated more quickly and in a more unsightly manner. Chapter 352. Martial arts is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, you will retreat. It's a pity that our saint child is not here, otherwise, how could this demon extermination general of Morijin act so arrogantly? An aged voice rang out. 100 years ago, after our saint child fell in battle against a rune seed realm in the golden body realm midstage, the position of saint child remained vacant until the birth of the saintess 50 years ago, who guaranteed that the White Lotus sect's sacred position would not be lost. Unfortunately, the saintess is currently in seclusion, attempting to break through her bottleneck. When talking about the saintess, the hearts of many White Lotus sect powerhouses secretly watching the battlefield trembled. The saintess possessed a peerless, monster-like talent that surpassed even the saint child of 100 years ago. Within just a few decades of stepping onto the martial arts path, she had reached the limit of the rune seed realm, equal to the bitter cultivation of hundreds of years for others. Moreover, the saintess was able to kill rune seed realm practitioners in the golden body realm and golden core realm powerhouses in the rune seed realm. Among the 100 sects, only a few could kill rune seed realm practitioners in the golden body realm, and almost none could kill golden core true masters in the rune seed realm. The strong powerhouses in the golden core realm were the absolute strongest among the 100 sects, each with a peerless talent. To kill such powerhouses, even someone with an unparalleled monstrous talent would find it extremely difficult. It won't be long before our White Lotus sect will have a golden core realm powerhouse with a heaven-defying battle prowess. In the White Lotus sect, a powerful person sighed. The golden core realm powerhouses, even the White Lotus sect had only a few of them. However, the White Lotus sect's saintess was able to kill a golden core realm powerhouse in the rune seed realm. Once she broke through, she would become an absolutely undefeated power. As for whether she could break through, there was no need to doubt it. If a person who built the supreme foundation in both origin fluid and golden body realms with a top-grade rune seed could not break through the golden core realm, then no one would be able to break through. Hearing the words of this rune seed realm powerhouse, the other powerhouses in the audience remained silent. Although the saintess of the sect had a monstrous talent and unparalleled combat power, she was not truly at the golden core realm. At present, the dilemma the White Lotus sect faced was not something that could be resolved by one or two golden core realm practitioners. With the Morrigan demon suppression army pressing down on their borders, several golden core realm powerhouses had already emerged, including those in the late golden core realm. If they could not deal with this threat, the White Lotus sect would face destruction. Boom! Rune ripples spread out, and spatial ripples filled the air. The 7-petal lotus seat was once again shattered by the 100-foot-tall mountain covered in runes. Wu Mahong's body flew out horizontally, his already broken body now dripping with golden blood, looking ghastly. In an instant, he forcibly stabilized his body, his breath was chaotic, and his rune seed was on the verge of shattering. Looking at the 100-foot-tall mountain covered in runes that was once again striking down, his eyes were filled with jealousy and cold, killing intent. Rune seed divine ability was something many powerhouses longed for but could not possess. And Hong Xingwu, merely an Earth-rank demon extermination general in the Morrigan demon suppression army with no significant reputation, was able to comprehend the rune seed divine ability. How could he not be jealous? Moreover, as a powerhouse of the White Lotus sect and a late-stage rune seed realm practitioner, he had control over the White Lotus sect's sacred object, the 7-petal subbody of Ninitum Pure Heart White Lotus, which could compete with rune seed realm peak powerhouses. With such formidable strength, even in the 100 sects of the nearby ocean areas, he had considerable fame. But now, under the public eye, he was beaten by the opponent of the same realm, his body collapsing, and his rune seed nearly shattered. In this way, his face would be entirely lost, with no more chances to control the sacred Ninitum Pure Heart White Lotus subbody. However, compared to those glories, his own life was the most important thing. So, despite overwhelming jealousy and murderous intent, Wu Mahong chose to retreat in the face of Hong Xingwu's renewed onslaught instead of resisting. Thus, he began the first retreat since the battle began. With this retreat, his past glory and fame would also recede, and everything would have nothing to do with him. But, could he retreat if he wanted to? Would his opponent, Hong Xingwu, give him the chance to retreat? Just then, several terrifying powers fell from the depths of the sky, and the 100-foot-tall mountain covered in runes suddenly split into 4, occupying 4 directions and forming a large array, directly suppressing the heavens with a force that seemed to crush the entire world. "Great Elder, save me!" He did not hesitate and immediately called for help. In fact, without him asking, powerhouses in the White Lotus sect had already taken action as soon as they noticed something was wrong. A late-stage rune seed realm was a top-notch combatant in the White Lotus sect and could not be lost. Deep in the sky, a huge hand fell, sealing off the heavens. The peerless divine ability that could suppress the peak power of the rune seed realm seemed to crumble in an instant. A respected elder of the White Lotus sect, not only are you inferior in direct confrontations, but you even stoop so low as to attack a golden core true master. How utterly laughable! A mocking laughter drifted from the depths of the sky, as a towering figure stepped through the void and mercilessly punched the hand that was suppressing the heavens. The solidified fist and the overwhelming palm wind collided. Power exploded. The peerless hand was directly crushed. However, Hong Xingwu's rune seed divine ability was also broken, and the 100-foot-tall mountains covered in runes collapsed. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Wu Mahong immediately fled. However, Hong Xingwu did not give him the opportunity to escape, and was determined to leave him in the depths of the battlefield. What audacity! Seeing Hong Xingwu unyielding, a White Lotus sect powerhouse became angry and attacked to intercept him. Humph, I am Bai Chongfeng, an Earth-rank demon extermination general of the Demon Suppression Army, here to fight you. Chapter 353. Martial arts is like rowing against the current. If you don't progress, you move backwards. 2 Space shattered, and the light of the runes flowed like the stars in a river pouring in reverse, as a middle-aged warrior in battle armor stepped forth. Behind him, a black spear emerged, shattering the heavens directly. The White Lotus sect powerhouses trying to rescue Wu Mahong were immediately blocked and unable to move forward. Fourth Elder, save me! Seeing the Great Elder and Third Elder successively blocked by the Demon Suppression Army's powerful fighters, Wu Mahong was filled with anxiety and called out for help from another powerful member of the sect. However, no sooner had the Fourth Elder of the White Lotus sect appeared than another powerful figure appeared from the Demon Suppression Army, staring back from a distance. Today, no one can save you. Hong Xingwu activated his Rune Seed divine ability again, with tremendous power, striking at Wu Mahong. With the explosion of the power of the runes, 100-foot aura suddenly surged in strength. Suppress! Hong Xingwu's face was solemn, his killing intent stern, controlling his divine ability of Rune Seed, pressing down on this late-stage Rune Seed realm powerhouse of the White Lotus sect. Wu Mahong was already severely injured, his flesh cracked, and even his Rune Seed was about to shatter. How could he resist such a powerful Rune Seed divine ability? In an instant, the skies were turbulent. Wu Mahong was crushed into dust by 4 giant mountains, golden blood dripped, his Rune Seed burst, law runes scattered, completely extinguished between heaven and earth. Elder Wu! Seeing Wu Mahong fall, the faces of the powerful members of the White Lotus sect were filled with sadness. The fall of a late-stage Rune Seed realm powerhouse, though it could not be said to be a devastating blow to the White Lotus sect, was still a heavy hit. After killing Wu Mahong, the aura emanating from Hong Xingwu became even stronger, his eyes glowing golden, as he usurped the heavens and the earth with his voice. White Lotus sect, who else dares to fight me? I will fight you! The void shattered, divine light shimmered, and a youth dressed in a white robe walked out. In the next moment, he appeared directly opposite Hong Xingwu in the deep sky. With each step he took in the void, a white lotus throne appeared under his feet, shimmering with runes. Seeing this, Hong Xingwu's face slightly changed. He could sense a strong pressure from this youth, and his strength seemed much stronger than that of Wu Mahong, who was just blasted to death by him. It's the son of the Holy Master, Situ Donglei. The elders and defenders of the White Lotus sect looked at the suddenly appearing youth, their faces filled with joy. Situ Donglei, who had reached the late-stage Rune Seed realm long ago, had astonishing combat power. If it were not for the birth of the Saintess, Situ Donglei would have been the best candidate for the Saint Child. Unfortunately, under the unparalleled brilliance of the Saintess, all his glory and edge were crushed. Even so, he remained second only to the Saintess in terms of strength and talent among the many talented disciples of the White Lotus sect. Moreover, with the permission of the Holy Master and the Supreme Elder, he entered seclusion with the Saintess in the Holy Land. Now, having secluded himself for several years, his strength must have skyrocketed and was formidable enough to suppress the demon extermination general of the Demon Suppression Army. Thunder attack! Runes flickered around Situ Donglei, and destructive thunders emerged from the void. The appearance of the terrifying thunder caused a terrifying hurricane, transforming into a towering tornado, accompanied by terrifying thunders. This force made the ones who felt it shudder in fear. Suppress! The more than 80 runes surrounding Hong Xingwu trembled and burst into dazzling brilliance in the deep sky. The light of the runes surged like a tide, sweeping across all directions. In the midst of the dazzling golden light, the 100-foot mountain emerged again, its brilliance 10,000 feet long, forcefully scattering the hurricane and suppressing the thunder. Meanwhile, at the battle between the Demon Suppression Army and the White Lotus sect, on the other side, the Cloud Sea sect battlefield had already ended, and the spoils of war had been cleaned up. The cultivation techniques, treasures of heaven and earth, and even the spirit veins of each spiritual peak had been completely harvested. In an instant, the aura of the Cloud Sea sect dispersed without a trace. Zhuang Ziyuan looked at the people from the Martial Academy and many independent martial cultivators and calmly said, "By now, all the subsidiary forces of the White Lotus sect have been eradicated. Those of you who participated in the battle can receive the corresponding demon extermination point. Besides, you have already completed the task of the 100 sect conquest. The Imperial Court and the Demon Suppression Army no longer request your forced participation in the war. Now you have two choices. One is to return to Marine, wait for the war to end, and exchange the resources you need. The second one is to follow the Demon Suppression Army to the core of the White Mountain Domain, the battlefront of the White Lotus sect." As he spoke, he looked at the people present, noticing that some had doubts, and patiently explained. "Your main task is to prevent the White Lotus sect from being reinforced by its subsidiaries, so as not to increase the pressure on the Demon Suppression Army. By now, many affiliated forces, such as the Black Mountain sect, the Cloud Sea sect, etc., have been extinguished, and the White Lotus sect is surrounded on all sides. As a powerful sect among the 100 sects, the White Lotus sect has many true masters in the Golden Core realm, extremely dangerous. The Rune Seed realm cannot dictate the outcome of the battlefield. Although your strengths are not weak, they are of little help to the overall battle. However, if you are willing to go, you may accompany us. The choice is in your hands, you can decide for yourselves." Upon hearing this, all Martial Academy disciples and independent martial cultivators had different emotions flashing in their eyes. Indeed, even without Zhuang Ziyuan saying it, they all understood just how dangerous the battlefield of the White Lotus sect really was. They dared not approach the battle of Rune Seed realm powerhouses alone. If there were indeed Golden Core realm powerhouses fighting, the resulting explosion would definitely destroy the heavens and the earth. If they didn't stay far away, they risked being shattered by the aftereffects of the battle. Chapter 354. Martial arts is like sailing against the current, not advancing means retreating. 3 However, danger is often linked to opportunities. In order to obtain greater opportunities, one must inevitably face risk. Moreover, their goal in this journey was to gain something in the battles. Fighting merely against the subsidiary powers of the White Lotus sect did not give them much breakthrough and was far from reaching their expected goals. Going back like this would make them feel uneasy. Lu Yun was struck by a thought. His pure yang martial arts canon had reached the ultimate reach profound in the Origin Fluid chapter, and he was only one step away from the perceived truth realm. As long as he entered the perceived truth realm, his innate talent could be further improved, reaching a level 9 innate talent. More importantly, he would be able to completely reach the pinnacle of the Origin Fluid realm, forging the most terrifying and solid foundation, stepping into the gold body realm with great momentum. However, it was precisely this step that required a significant amount of energy points. According to the latest information available on the panel behind the cultivation technique, stepping from the perfection of reach profound in the Origin Fluid chapter to the perceived truth realm requires 50,000 energy points. Now, he had less than 10,000 energy points remaining. In order to gain more energy points, he had to continue fighting. As the White Lotus sect was the second echelon among the 100 sects, its strength far surpassed the Black Mountain sect and the Cloud Sea sect. The disciples and experts of the sect would certainly possess abundant resources. By then, he would be able to obtain a large amount of energy points. What's more, if he could harvest a lot of resources, he would not need to worry about the lack of pills or energy points for his future improvement. Furthermore, His current demon extermination points were still a certain distance away from 10,000, making him ineligible to enter the Flood Dragon pool. Retreating like this did not conform to his original intention. After some deliberation, Lu Yun became more determined to head to the White Lotus sect battlefield. After all, if he wanted to obtain more resources, he could only take risk. If he retreated in fear, it would not be easy to enhance his strength, let alone defeat Rune Seed Realm expert. He didn't know when that would happen. Although Lu Yun was the representative and captain of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, he could not force others to accompany him to the White Lotus sect. He had to consult with the others. The journey to the White Lotus sect is fraught with danger. Even Elder Lei and I may not be able to protect ourselves. You have all already experienced 2 significant battles which have provided enough practice. Returning to the Martial Academy and digesting the gains of this journey would definitely result in a decent improvement, Lu Yun said as he looked at everyone with a solemn expression. As elite disciples of the Martial Academy, he did not want to lose too many people in the battle against the White Lotus sect. In his heart, he did not wish for them to go. Senior Brother Lu, the path of martial arts is like sailing against the current. If we do not advance, we will lag behind. If we stop or even retreat due to the unknown danger, our martial spirit will be tainted, and there will not be much progress in the future, said Bailey E. with a serious expression. So, I will not retreat now or in the future, but keep moving forward. Saint Child, we will not retreat on this journey to the White Lotus sect. Kjugyun and the others also showed their determination. Seeing that everyone had no intention of returning to the Martial Academy, Lu Yun felt more happiness than worry. With the help of his panel, he could rely on energy points to increase his strength. In the face of danger, it was feasible for him to choose to retreat. The only downside was that his growth rate would slow down. But it was different for the others. Missing the opportunity to gain resources and improve their strength would cause them to fall behind, eventually stagnating. Lu Yun particularly admired Bailey E's martial spirit. Among everyone, his innate talent was only at the apex of level 5, which was close to the lowest. However, his progress was not slow at all, even surpassing by Haoxuan, who had a level 6 innate talent. A small part of the demon suppression army was left behind at the Cloud Sea sect, waiting for the Imperial Court to send someone to take over. Soon after, Zhuang Ziyuan led the remainder of the demon suppression army and many other martial artists on their majestic march toward the White Mountain area. There, the real battlefield awaited the Far Suppression Legion of the Demon Suppression Army. By then, even Rune Seed Realm experts like Zhuang Ziyuan would no longer be able to dominate the battlefield. Chapter 355. The Battlefield of the White Lotus Sect Leader. A powerful confrontation. The majestic battleship broke through the sky, and in an instant, it left the territory of the Cloud Sea sect. Brother Lu's strength has improved once again. A gentle voice came from behind. Lu Yun turned around and saw the person, giving him a faint smile. Brother's strength has also made great progress. Regarding this, Zhuochuya shook his head slightly. Actually, you should know that the reason for my progress in strength cannot be compared with yours. You improved your strength through your own talent and hard work, while I only made a slight progress relying on my previous accumulation. As he spoke, there was a look of emotion on his face, with a touch of complexity in his eyes. Every time he met Lu Yun again, Zhuochuya could feel the improvement in Lu Yun's strength, which was a terrifying talent. However, considering that Lu Yun was the Martial Academy's Saint Child, it seemed normal. Those who could become the Martial Academy's Saint Child were all the top-notch geniuses in Morijin, and their progress in strength could no longer be described by common sense. It is worth mentioning that none of the 36 martial academies in Ling Province have ever produced a Saint Child in the past hundreds of years, from which it can be seen how much talent and potential are needed to become a Saint Child of the Martial Academy. In some respects, the genius of the Saint Child of Morijin Martial Academy is even above the top heavenly prides of the 100 sects. After all, Morijin is the true orthodox of the human race today. As for Zhuqiwai's humble words, Lu Yun did not take them to heart. He knew that when Zhuqiwai met the powerful Rune Seed Realm midstage expert in the Cloud Sea sect before, the expert had revealed a strong sense of fear. Additionally, he had some understanding of the Sky-Splitting Sword sect. The Sky-Splitting Sword sect was one of the top sects among the 100 sects, with its overall strength even higher than the White Lotus sect. The sect's foundation was only slightly weaker than the Red Moon Demon sect, Heavenly Mystery Sword sect, and Green Cloud sect. Moreover, the sword-drawing Sky-Splitting Slash was a sect-defending sword technique of the Sky-Splitting Sword sect, and very few people could master it. Yet, Zhuqiwai could, which showed how strong his talent and strength were in the past. Looking at Zhuqiwai's gentle expression, Lu Yun couldn't help but ask tentatively, "Brother Zhua, if I may ask, what realm were you in before?" He was very curious about what kind of strength this genius, who had mastered the sect-defending sword technique of the Sky-Splitting Sword sect, had before he abandoned his foundation. He wanted to judge the strength of the top-notch geniuses in the 100 sects through Zhuqiwai's strength and roughly estimate the strength of the Saint Children in Morijin's various martial academies, so as to know how much more progress he needed to make. Upon hearing this, Zhuqiwai casually said a sentence. "I merely reached the peak of the Rune Seed realm, but that was just in the past. Now I am only in the Gold Body realm, and I have to be cautious when facing a Rune Seed realm early-stage martial artist." Peak of Rune Seed realm. Lu Yun's heart shook. Although he was sure that Zhuqiwai was powerful before he abandoned his foundation, he did not expect that he had reached the peak of the Rune Seed realm. With just one more step, he could forge the Golden Core and become a true master of the Golden Core realm. He then looked at Zhuqiwai, who appeared to be in his 20s. Could someone reach the peak of Rune Seed realm in their 20s without any cheating? I dare to ask, is Brother Zhua really only 28 years old as the rumors say? Haha, how could that be possible? Zhuqiwai immediately laughed and shook his head, but did not reveal his true age. Hearing this, Lu Yun nodded slightly. If Zhuqiwai really had reached the peak of Rune Seed realm in his 20s, abandoned his foundation, and then cultivated back to the Gold Body realm, his talent would have been too astounding. Soon, the atmosphere turned silent again. Lu Yun didn't ask any more questions, and Zhuqiwai didn't say anything either. As for the other martial artists on board the battleship, they all sat down and digested the gains from the previous battle. Going to the White Lotus sect battlefield meant facing even greater dangers. The stronger one's strength, the better the chance of survival. Therefore, they must strive to improve their strength in every moment. Time slowly passed. In Lu Yun's perception, as the battleship traveled through the deep space, the aura in the depths of the space became increasingly heavy, as if something was brewing. It seems that we are about to arrive at the main battlefield of the White Lotus sect. Lu Yun said to himself. The White Lotus sect battlefield was not like the Black Mountain sect battlefield and the Cloud Sea sect battlefield. There would definitely be Golden Core realm experts taking action at that time. Golden Core realm experts were extremely powerful. Even a true master who had just stepped into the early Golden Core realm was far beyond what a Rune Seed realm martial artist could handle. Chapter 356. Battle of the White Lotus Sect Leader. A powerful showdown _2 Lu Yun made up his mind not to get involved in battles beyond the half-step Rune Seed realm level. The goal for this time was to accumulate demon extermination points and gain resources by killing powerful enemies. While Lu Yun was lost in thought, the warship maintained its high speed and entered a certain region. After an unknown period, terrifying waves stirred in the calm vastness of outer space ahead of them, as if a dreadful existence was causing tremendous surges in an endless deep sea. The massive waves could be sensed from far away, making people feel the pressure of the deluge coming towards them. Feeling the fluctuations in the distant expanse, all martial artists on board ceased their cultivation and took on solemn expressions. The moment was near. The fluctuations ahead were caused by the fierce battles between the Demon Suppression Army's powerful experts and those of the White Lotus sect. Even now, they were still hundreds of thousands of miles away from the real battlefield. However, the techniques and divine abilities of Golden Core Realm experts far surpassed those of the Rune Seed Realm. As a result, their battles caused such intense fluctuations that their reverberations could still be clearly felt from such a great distance. We will soon reach the real battlefield. I believe you can guess what kind of dangers we will face, so I won't repeat myself. Remember, if your strength is insufficient, do not rush into battlefields above your level, Zhuang Ziyuan reiterated. Hearing his words, all the Demon Suppression Army guards and martial artists aboard had determined expressions. Now that they were at the battlefield, they would have to face whatever difficulties and dangers came their way fearlessly. Retreat was not an option. However, as Zhuang Ziyuan said, as long as they did not recklessly leave their designated battlefields, they would not face opponents with too great a disparity in strength. Golden Core Realm experts would not intervene in the battles of the Rune Seed Realm, and Rune Seed Realm experts would not interfere in the battles of the Golden Body Realm martial artists. These were the unspoken rules of the battlefield. As the warship continued to advance deeper, the fluctuations coming from outer space became even more intense. Even the warship's flight was affected by the tremendous aftershocks of the battles. Every now and then, the ship rocked like a vessel sailing through the violent waves of a great ocean. Lu Yun fixed his gaze on the horizon, just in time to see several large warships arrayed in the lower reaches of outer space. Beyond the warships stretched a battlefield so vast that the end couldn't be seen. Nearly every inch of the landscape was affected by the battles, all of it within the range of the battlefield. Above the battlefield hung a deadly atmosphere. It was a destructive, frenzied killing aura that could make the minds of those not powerful enough to become affected. Their killing intent would become stronger and their fighting even more crazed. In the higher reaches of outer space, terrifying experts clashed, their immense battle-induced shockwaves occasionally affecting the lower reaches and even the ground below. At this moment they had wholly entered the battlefield. The warship slowly descended, coming to a halt behind the other warship. Zhuang Ziyuan took the lead, tearing through the void and looking back at the Demon Suppression Army guards and the multitude of martial artists behind him. He then spoke in a deep voice, "We have arrived at the White Lotus sect battlefield. Attack!" As soon as the words were spoken, runes flashed, and a golden great Dao appeared. Zhuang Ziyuan stepped onto the great Dao, tearing through outer space as he charged at a White Lotus sect Rune Seed Realm expert. Seeing this, the well-prepared Demon Suppression Army guards and martial artists all took to the skies with one accord, rushing straight into the battlefield. The battlefield seemed boundless, but the scope differed for martial artists of different realms. For Golden Core Realm experts, the battlefield was vast and mysterious, with no clear location. The Rune Seed Realm experts fought in the higher reaches of outer space, where the intermittent appearance of runes and powerful aftershocks of battles revealed their skirmishes. For the Golden Body Realm experts, their fierce battles took place in the lower reaches of the battlefield's inner depth. The intensity of their conflicts was only slightly less than that of the Rune Seed Realm experts, with landslides, earthquakes, and rivers running dry being a common occurrence. A chaotic free-for-all unfolded among fighters below the Golden Body Realm, marked by unparalleled disorder and a complete lack of rules. True Chi Realm martial artists could easily encounter Peak Origin Fluid Realm fighters by accident and be killed in an instant. Thus, to an extent, the battles of Origin Fluid Realm and lower martial artists were the most intense and dangerous. As for Lu Yun, although he still belonged to the Origin Fluid Realm, his true power far exceeded its limits, even reaching the peak of the Golden Body Realm. So, his goal was to enter the battlefields of the Golden Body Realm. As he moved into the battlefield, He locked onto a powerful opponent engaged in fierce battle with the Demon Suppression Army. A mid-stage Golden Body Realm fighter. Weak by his standard. Morijin has brought reinforcements? Sensing that another formidable force had entered the battlefield, the faces of many White Lotus sect experts turned stern. From what they knew, Marine was now fighting multiple fronts, invading more than a dozen sects simultaneously. Even the topmost sect among the 100 sects, the Red Moon Demon sect, was under siege by the Marine Demon Suppression Army. Their White Lotus sect was merely facing a core of the Marine Demon Suppression Army. If they were truly fighting the Marine Demon Suppression Army's main forces, they would not have had the heart to resist, fleeing with their entire sect instead. It was precisely because they knew they were only facing a single Demon Suppression Army corps that the higher-ups of the White Lotus sect had the confidence to hold them off. Their sect had many subordinate forces that would provide continuous support as the battle progressed. Chapter 357. Battle of the White Lotus Sect Leader, a powerful showdown _3. But now, very few of their subordinate forces had come to support them, while the reinforcements of the Demon Suppression Army continued to grow. How could this not surprise them? Even if the martial artists below the Rune Seed realm were unable to change the final outcome of the battle, if they suffered too many losses, the damage to the White Lotus sect would be incalculable, and it would take at least several decades or even 100 years to recover. In this almost boundless battlefield, ordinary True Chi realm and transforming Origin realm martial artists could easily perish if they weren't careful. Only the strong in the Origin fluid realm could barely have some self-preservation ability in this chaotic battlefield. As for the battles at the Golden Body realm level, both sides displayed countless techniques, making it very difficult to determine a winner in a short period of time. It would only be if one was careless or suddenly targeted by a more powerful enemy that they could suffer severe injuries or even perish. Only the powerful at the Rune Seed realm level could control their own destiny in such a battlefield. They could attack or defend. If their opponents did not pay a certain price, they could not kill them. This is not good. A Rune Seed realm martial artist who was targeted by Wei Zongqing suddenly paled. He was fighting on equal terms with an Earth-rank demon extermination general, neither of them had the upper hand over the other. He didn't expect that suddenly another Earth-rank demon extermination general would join the battle, which terrified him. Facing an Earth-rank demon extermination general alone, even if defeated, he wouldn't face the danger of perishing. But facing two at the same time, the outcome would be different. One careless move would cost his life. Therefore, upon detecting Wei Zongqing's arrival, he didn't hesitate at all and quickly retreated. He retreated quickly, but Wei Zongqing's blood spear was even faster. Like a crimson star falling, the blood-red spear flashed through the sky, immediately blocking his path of retreat. Without waiting for any reaction, a seal filled with dark thunder descended from the sky, suppressing him. The terrifying black silence profound thunder destroyed his rune and spread through his body. How could the Black Mountain Sect's treasure, the Black Mountain Seal, fall into your hands? He was in a miserable state, struck by the thunderstorm. His hair disheveled, he stared at Wei Zongqing in shock. The Black Mountain Sect is destroyed, and the Black Mountain Seal naturally falls to me. Unfortunately, one can only unleash 20 to 30% of its power, otherwise that strike just now would have been enough to kill you. Wei Zongqing stood in the sky, and behind his back in the void, the crimson spear shattered the air, emitting a deep red glow. Brother Wei, you arrived just in time, otherwise I wouldn't be able to deal with this old fellow alone. The Earth-rank demon extermination general who fought against the White Lotus sect's powerful warrior chased him, blocked his retreat, and smiled at Wei Zongqing from afar. Brother Zong, you just help me out and I'll kill him. Wei Zongqing looked at the man, gave a faint smile, and then spoke with great enthusiasm. All right, Brother Wei, I'll leave this fellow to you. This Earth-rank demon extermination general was named Zongqing, who had been promoted to the Rune Seed realm at the same time as Wei Zongqing. The two had a good private relationship, and there was no displeasure in his response to Wei Zongqing's words. He readily agreed. As soon as the words were spoken, the eyes of the White Lotus Sect's Rune Seed realm strongman flickered, and a breath of relief welled up in his heart. As long as the opponents didn't attack simultaneously, he would suddenly have a chance to hold on until reinforcements arrived. "Kill!" Wei Zongqing shouted, his hair standing on end and his pupils flashing red. The rune's light that surrounded him surged with fighting intent, shaking the sky. With a wave of both hands, countless blood spears shot out, like a rain of blood falling. At the same time, a thick, rune-covered blood-red spear slowly appeared. He grasped it in one hand, stepped into the air, and the runes on the blood spear became even more dazzling as he struck towards the White Lotus Sect's Rune Seed realm strongman. Impossible! How can he be so strong as a Rune Seed realm initial stage? On the other side, in the battlefield of Golden Body Realm strongmen, Lu Yun killed the Golden Body Realm strongman he had targeted. This is not good. That Golden Body Realm strongman seemed to be stared at by a prehistoric beast, his whole body shuddering with cold sweat. He wanted to dodge, but he didn't know where the danger was coming from and had to stimulate his surging Yuan High and powerful gold body to block it. However, his Yuan High and strong gold body were not worth mentioning in front of Lu Yun. A flash of golden light swept down from the sky like a fleeting shadow, and as it flashed through the gray sky, the head of that mid-stage Golden Body Realm martial artist dropped from his neck. The speed was so fast that the Golden Body Realm martial artist couldn't react. Many powerful warriors around the battlefield who had noticed this scene, both from the Demon Suppression Army and the White Lotus Sect, couldn't help but gasp. So strong! In his hands, a mid-stage Golden Body Realm had no resistance at all. Is that Lu Yun? Someone recognized Lu Yun's figure. The Demon Suppression Army that attacked the White Lotus Sect still belonged to the Far Suppression Legion, along with the 36 talents and elders of Ling Province's martial academies and many independent martial cultivators. They all knew Lu Yun and had heard of his reputation. It is said that Lu Yun is the only martial academy's saint child in Ling Province and is also the #1 monstrous talent. It seems that his reputation is well deserved. If he can advance to the Golden Body Realm in the future, I'm afraid he could even kill Rune Seed Realm strongmen. For a peak origin fluid realm to kill Golden Body Realm strongmen, though monstrous, it was not too extreme as many heavenly talents and monstrous geniuses could do it. But for someone like Lu Yun, killing a mid-stage Golden Body Realm like crushing an ant was simply not normal. The gap in the levels was so great, yet he still managed to kill them in an unstoppable manner. What did this represent? Unparalleled combat power and heaven-defying ability to surpass levels. Such a surpassing ability was far beyond the reach of ordinary heavenly talents and monstrous geniuses, and only those martial academy saint children of their realm could barely do it. However, compared to the shock of the independent martial cultivators, a few martial academy heavenly talents sneered. So what if he lulled a mid-stage Golden Body Realm? He is still only at the origin fluid realm now. Compared to the real martial academy's saint child, he still has a long way to go. Chapter 358. Confronting the half-step Rune Seed Realm, demon extermination points skyrocket after Lu Yun lulled a mid-stage Gold Body Realm martial artist. He continued to kill several other Gold Body Realm martial artists in rapid succession. Killing an early-stage Gold Body Realm martial artist from 100 secs would yield 400 demon extermination points. Killing a peak Gold Body Realm martial artist from 100 secs would yield 3,200 demon extermination points. After killing several Gold Body Realm martial artists of the White Lotus Sect in quick succession, Lu Yun's demon extermination points reached over 8,000, approaching the 10,000 milestone. And as several Gold Body Realm martial artists from the White Lotus Sect fell one after the other, Spatial ripples proliferated, runes flashed, and a terrifying force, impossible to resist, bombarded towards Lu Yun. It was a man in a green robe in his middle age, who stood tall in the sky with no movements on his feet. However, the war halberd in his hand had already slammed down, driving a dazzling light that pressed down, bursting with a rumbling sound, as if a golden torrent of water poured down from the sky. The crowd was horrified, as this middle-aged man in green was too powerful. This single attack alone was enough to prove his strength and make him the absolute limit of the Gold Body realm. Even general peak Gold Body realm martial artists would find it difficult to resist. Boom! However, to the astonishment of the Demon Suppression Army and the martial artists of Marine, Lu Yun faced this attack without retreating but chose to counter with a single punch. Golden light surged like a great sun, crushing the pouring golden waves to pieces. The green-robed middle-aged man's attack was strong enough to subdue a lack-stage Gold Body realm martial artist, force a peak Gold Body realm martial artist on the defensive, and was virtually unstoppable. But now it was blocked by none other than Lu Yun, an Origin Fluid realm martial artist, who was able to neutralize this terrifying attack. For thousands of years, there had been many heavenly pride and monstrous talents with extraordinary combat prowess, but no one had resisted the half-step Rune Seed realm powerhouse as Lu Yun had at the Origin Fluid realm. Upon witnessing Lu Yun's explosive power, the heavenly prides of the martial academies who had mocked him earlier were stunned. Among them, the strongest ones were only comparable with the peak Gold Body realm martial artists. Even as the martial academy's saint child, Lu Yun was not looked upon by them. After all, the difference between Origin Fluid realm and peak Gold Body realm was vast by manyfold. But now, as an Origin Fluid realm martial artist, Lu Yun had unleashed a combat power comparable to a half-step Rune Seed realm powerhouse, surpassing any of them. Morijin has actually produced such a monstrous talent. It should be killed. Proudly standing in the sky, the green-robed middle-aged man looked down on Lu Yun, displaying an arrogant and domineering attitude. The means of a half-step Rune Seed realm martial artist were not that simple. Lu Yun's extraordinary combat power shocked him and further affirmed his intention to kill. An array of golden runes enveloped his war halberd, emitting a deep, mysterious glow, wrapping around it with an endless murderous aura. This formed a black dragon that dove towards Lu Yun. This was a powerful halberd technique obtained from the White Lotus sect when they destroyed other sects, which exhibited terrifying power in his hands. Not daring to take it lightly, Lu Yun knew that this man was a genuine half-step Rune Seed realm fighter, and he needed to give it his all. Between his moving hands, the 330-meter maximum essence C appeared, followed by the dragon scale saber, which shot out under the blessing of both the essence C and slaughter conception, and then slashed towards the black dragon with a torrential saber energy. Upon reaching the limit of Origin Fluid realm, the essence C erupted, the power of his physical body increased, allowing Lu Yun to face the half-step Rune Seed realm powerhouses with case. According to his plans and calculations, he did not want to face such powerful opponents anytime soon, and merely wanted to harvest some Gold Body realm martial artists peacefully. But unfortunately, this was a battlefield with almost no rules, and once one demonstrated a strength that broke the balance, even more powerful fighters would descend upon them. The saber energy tore through the sky, exerting formidable pressure, emitting a terrifying breath that ripped through the sky and crushed the black dragon, while subsequently, a brilliant light burst out as they collided. In the end, the saber energy and the black dragon shattered together, forcing both Lu Yun and the green-robed middle-aged man to retreat, each leaving a long and extended mark in the sky. The green-robed middle-aged man retreated several dozen meters before finally stabilizing himself with a powerful glow shot from his war halberd, shaving off a nearby peak, using the recoil to halt his body. Panting slightly, a piece of his robe had been cut off as he had suffered a loss to a young man in his early teens. After all, he had practiced for hundreds of years. His martial arts had almost reached the half-step rune seed realm level, and each of his moves was enough to sweep through all gold body realm martial artists. Almost no one could match him, but today he had fallen short against an origin fluid realm teenager. Ah, the green-robed middle-aged man let out a roar, his eyes cold and murderous. His body glowed as runes appeared one after another from the rune seed, circling around him. Using the power of the rune seed, he took Lu Yun as a true opponent of his own level, not underestimating him any longer. 69 runes simultaneously appeared and added to the war halberd, increasing its power dramatically, and charging forward to attack. Lu Yun frowned, and the 330-meter maximum essence sea appeared behind him, golden light illuminating the entire sky, casting him in the spotlight, as if he was at the center of a boundless great sun with an incomprehensible might. What? Many people exclaimed, especially many of the White Lotus sect martial artists who did not know Lu Yun's abilities. Upon seeing this terrifying origin sea, they were immediately awestruck and couldn't help but widen their eyes. There had never been an essence sea of 330 meters before in the records of countless ancient texts and annals. The maximum essence sea brought not only a vast amount of pure yang aura origin, but also a refinement of the physical body to its pinnacle, like a pure-blooded divine being. Inside his small body, he possessed the most terrifying power. Chapter 359. Confronting the half-step rune seed realm, Demon Extermination Value Soars _2, such a monstrous being, Protector Huang must slay him today. A grand and resounding voice suddenly reached the ears of the blue-robed middle-aged man. He looked around but could not find the source of the voice. However, he knew that it was an order from one of the elders within the sect. He nodded heavily, and the runes surrounding his body erupted with dazzling light. The war halberd spanning the skies hummed, growing tens of meters, and exploded towards the top of Lu Yun's head, wrapped in runes and with an earth-shattering power. Clang! Lu Yun struck with force, his blade infused with terrifying aura origin and divine power. It landed on the massive war halberd, producing a collision sound like thunder, trembling with formidable shockwaves like tidal waves slapping the depths of space. Golden light surged and runes burned. Seeing this terrifying collision, both sides fighting around them temporarily stopped and watched the battle. When the horrifying aftermath spread in all directions, they also avoided it immediately, fearing being caught in the shockwaves and ending up with their flesh ground to dust. Both sides were evenly matched in the first collision. The thick and colossal war halberd was sent flying, while Lu Yun's hand trembled with pain. Neither party gained the upper hand as they turned into dazzling lights occupying opposite ends of the sky. The blue-robed middle-aged man remained aloof, wielding the massive war halberd once more, attacking Lu Yun with overpowering momentum and unparalleled strength. Lu Yun evaded the attack and cast the 3000 thunder movement, triggering a sea of thunder. Standing at the highest point in the sky, a 99-meter-tall golden yuan high appeared, and golden fierce tigers leaped out, surrounding Lu Yun's figure. It was like a golden sun hanging in the sky, emitting incomparably dazzling radiance, almost submerging this entire world. The blue-robed middle-aged man sneered, wielding the golden war halberd, summoning a sea of golden runes, and attacked Lu Yun with an invincible posture. Lu Yun remained unmoved, gripping the dragon scale saber tightly. The golden yuan high behind him surged, pouring crazily into the blade. At the same time, the lotus seat in his sea of consciousness, now having bloomed with 5 petals, trembled violently, and boundless killing intent exploded, supporting the dragon scale saber. In an instant, the sky was occupied by a blood-red color, as if a sea of blood had descended. Amidst the boundless sea of blood, a continuous blade light burst out, slicing through the sea of blood, and fell with the force of breaking the sky. So strong! Everyone exclaimed after Lu Yun swung his blade. Even Zhuo Qiuye, who noticed this scene, was extremely surprised. He knew that Lu Yun's strength had improved greatly, but he didn't expect it to have improved to such an extent, unleashing such a terrifying blade. In fact, even Lu Yun himself did not anticipate that he could display such divine might upon using his attack again. Boom! The blue-robed middle-aged man was immediately engulfed in a blood-red blade light, causing his layers of runes to shatter. Crack! Suddenly, a terrifying sound echoed, the blood-red sky trembled, and the blue-robed middle-aged man and his war halberd were sent flying out from the sky, crashing heavily into a valley. The formidable impact caused indescribable turbulence. Regardless of the outcome of this battle, Lu Yun's name would be spread throughout the entire Marine and 100 sect. One blade could suppress a half-step rune seed realm. Such a powerful battle strength was enough to shock all parties, and it completely concealed the fact that he was a mere origin fluid realm. Kill! The blue-robed middle-aged man shouted, his hair disheveled and his eyes filled with madness. He burst out from the shattered valley, surrounded by golden runes and exuding a torrent of killing intent, shaking heaven and earth. He shot into the air, his war halberd even more resplendent as it targeted Lu Yun, who was looking down from the sky. Vibrating with thunderous roars, the runes condensed, emitting an unparalleled deathly aura. Clang! Another resounding sound echoed as Lu Yun's blade struck the war halberd, applying nearly 5 million pounds of force to shatter the enemy's weapon. The sound reverberated as the runes on the war halberd shone, its golden light like real waves, emitting endless ripples that rocked the world, surprising all the martial artists engaged in battle, who once again shifted the battlefield in different directions. With a loud boom, the dispersed waves fell from the sky and violently crashed into a mountain peak. In an instant, dust and smoke filled the air, large rocks soared, and were then enveloped by the powerful rune bloodlight, being crushed into dust while suspended in the air. The two clashed in midair, with runes pouring forth, the golden yuan high roared, an unparalleled war halberd, and a saber that stirred the roar of dragons, engaged in a life-and-death duel. Witnessing such unimaginable divine power, an endless yuan high that seemed like it would never dry, both the powerful members of the White Lotus sect and the martial artists of the Marine were stunned. If it were them at the origin fluid realm, they wouldn't even be able to stand against the golden body realm, let alone face the half-step rune seed realm. They and Lu Yun were not on the same level. This truly was a top-notch genius among the saint children. Such individuals built the supreme foundation during their origin fluid realm and entered the boundaries of the extreme, pushing their combat power to the limit in the current realm to unleash such unparalleled power. Finally, a humming sound of metal echoed in the air, and the runes between the heavens and earth shattered. The war halberd covered in runes was sent flying and descended from the sky, carrying an endless amount of power, and crashed into a mountain. This person's strength is abnormal and unbeatable. If other disciples encounter him, avoid him as much as possible. Chapter 360. Confronting the half-step rune seed realm, demon extermination value soars 3A deep. Muffled voice drifted through the air as Chingy middle-aged man swiftly left, shrouded with his battle halberd. Anyone with keen eyesight could see that as the Chingy middle-aged man departed, he was staggering and golden blood dripped from his body. Those witnessing this scene took a deep breath at last. If it wasn't for witnessing it with my own eyes, I would have thought that it was two half-step rune seed realm powerhouses fighting. Lu Yun stepped out from the blood river, his eyes crimson, and his long sword wrapped in blood-red saber energy. The surrounding void was shrouded in killing intent, making people dare not look directly at him. He cast a deep glance at the fleeing Chingy middle-aged man but ultimately decided not to pursue and kill him. At the half-step rune seed realm, if the opponent chose not to fight, there was nothing he could do. At most, he could suppress and severely injure the foe but not kill him. Moreover, slaying a half-step rune seed realm martial artist and beheading a golden body realm peak 100 sect martial artist would yield the same 3,200 demon extermination points. The gap between the golden body realm peak and the half-step rune seed realm was vast. Wasting time on a half-step rune seed realm was not something Lu Yun would do if it was laborious and unrewarding. After contemplating, Lu Yun set his sights on a new target. It was a battlefield between two Golden Core Realm martial artists. Lu Yun vaguely recognized the Golden Body Realm martial artist on the Morijin side. It was clear that he could only vaguely recognize someone without knowing them. That would be the disciples of the Ling Province Martial Academy. With a brief search in his mind, Lu Yun found the person's identity and the relevant information. Li Juku. Previously, Li Juku had been fighting alongside Lu Yun from the Black Mountain sect to the Cloud Sea sect and later together to the White Lotus sect battleground. Although they didn't interact much during the journey, they had been discussed by others. Li Juku, a Heavenly Pride disciple of South Sun Martial Academy, had strength comparable to the late Golden Body Realm, although his actual realm was the Mid-Golden Body Realm. From the current situation, his opponent was no ordinary late Golden Body Realm martial artist. However, he had not gained any advantage during his battle with Li Juku. From this, it was evident that Li Juku was a worthy Heavenly Pride disciple of South Sun Martial Academy, and his combat power was similar to that of the twin blademen of Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Boom! The longsword shot out like a dragon, and under the power of the nearly 20 zhang yuan high and the strong physical strength, it spit out terrifying saber radiance. Li Juku focused his entire mind and attention on dealing with his enemy, his longsword constantly attacking, pressing closely, and forcibly suppressing his opponent. Helpless, although he possessed the ability to fight beyond his level, he didn't completely suppress his opponent. If he wanted to win, he needed to strike with continuous momentum and not allow the enemy any breathing room. Otherwise, the reversal of offense and defense would be extremely disadvantageous for him. Kill! Suddenly, intense killing intent burst forth in Li Juku's eyes, and all his saber intent and true origin converged into a single terrifying strike. Under the threat of such a horrifying attack, the White Lotus sect's Golden Body Realm martial artist's face changed and he quickly dodged without thinking. Boom! Finally, when he was unable to dodge in time, his right arm was severed by the strike and golden blood flowed out. Even Golden Body Realm martial artists couldn't achieve regeneration of a severed limb. After losing his arm, his strength was drastically weakened, and continuing the fight was impossible, so he could only temporarily withdraw from the battlefield. With the strength of his late Golden Body Realm, Li Juku couldn't possibly stop him from fleeing. Li Juku did not intend to stop him, knowing his limitations, as it was easy to defeat a late Golden Body Realm martial artist, but it was not very likely to kill him outright. Seeing that Li Juku did not give chase, the White Lotus sect's late Golden Body Realm martial artist visibly relaxed. Just as he slightly let down his guard, a tremendous sense of danger suddenly arose in his heart. Almost instantly, he scrambled to mobilize his yuan-high and powerful body to defend against the imminent threat. But before he could gather his strength, an indescribable pressure from the surrounding space caused his body to quickly shatter. The 100 refined Vajra ring emitted a powerful suppressive force. Destroy. Lu Yun's expression was indifferent as he watched the opponent being trapped by the 100 refined Vajra ring and prepared to annihilate him directly. Formless Tribulation Finger. Feeling the threat of death, the White Lotus sect Golden Body Realm powerhouse struggled violently, and waves of vast true origin crazily surged, trying to break free from the constraints of the 100 refined Vajra ring. However, there was no effect. The 100 refined Vajra ring hung horizontally in the void, emitting a powerful golden halo, sealing off a piece of heaven and earth, and possessing a terrifying suppression force. Breaking free from it required extraordinary strength and a high degree of power. If their explosive power was insufficient, or if they were too far behind Lu Yun, there would be no chance of breaking free. The terrifying finger pierced through the void and landed directly. Poochie! The body burst apart, golden blood spraying across the sky, and the pitiful White Lotus Sect Golden Body Realm martial artist was penetrated by the formless tribulation finger without even seeing Lu Yun's face. The entire process had happened almost instantaneously. From the moment the White Lotus Sect Golden Body Realm martial artist fled, to being suppressed by the 100 refined Vajra ring, and then being killed by the formless tribulation finger, it took just under 2 breaths. Recalling the 100 refined Vajra ring, Lu Yun took the opponent's Sumi ring and examined it briefly, a faint smile appearing on his face. On the other side, Li Juku watched Lu Yun's dominating move, killing the opponent he couldn't handle in an instant. His eyes flashed with a complex emotion. As one of Ling Province's martial academy's heavenly pride, he felt dull and dim in comparison to Lu Yun's brilliance. However, after a brief moment, he readjusted his mindset. Becoming a martial academy saint child, and the first ever in Ling Province for hundreds of years, meant having such extraordinary strength was a good thing. Not only could it bring honor to Ling Province, but it could also inspire the heavenly pride of other Ling Province martial academies, allowing the martial arts level of their younger generation to rise rapidly and catch up with the other major provinces. Moreover, Li Juku had a premonition that if he could survive this battle and return from the 100 Sects expedition, he would surely advance to the late Golden Body Realm, or even the Peak Realm, quickly. With his strong talent and experience in life and death battles, his Golden Body Realm accumulations would become even more profound, and breaking through the realms would be a natural process. Gathering his spoils of war, Lu Yun checked the Demon Extermination token again. Killing a late Golden Body Realm martial artist contributed 1,600 Demon Extermination points to him. Adding the previous points, his Demon Extermination points had broken through the 9,000 mark, getting him even closer to the target of 10,000. Still, it's better to kill martial artists with a big gap in strength compared to me, so I can earn Demon Extermination points faster. Lu Yun's determination was unwavering as he shifted his gaze to another White Lotus Sect Golden Body Realm martial artist. However, before he could make a move, he sensed a powerful aura approaching. Damn bad luck! Lu Yun cursed lowly and quickly concealed his aura, heading in another direction. Chapter 361. A single hair can move the whole body. The great melee. After the previous encounters, Lu Yun had a better understanding of his own strength. At this point, he no longer feared those in the half-step Rune Seed realm. However, if he were entangled by a half-step Rune Seed realm expert, he would be unable to accumulate Demon Extermination points and spoils of war. As a result, whenever Lu Yun detected the arrival of other strong auras, he would immediately leave the battlefield and choose a new target only after the aura stalking him had disappeared. With a determined mind, Lu Yun then set his eyes on another Golden Body Realm martial artist from the White Lotus Sect. On the vast battlefield, both sides were engaged in fierce battles. In the past, Origin Fluid Realm and Gold Body Realm martial artists, who were considered top-ranked fighters in their counties, seemed to be nothing here, as they could fall at any moment. Moreover, the fighting showed no signs of stopping as it became more and more intense. Amidst this ruthless and chaotic battlefield, a figure would appear and quickly disappear from time to time. Whenever this figure appeared, at least 1 or 2 Gold Body Realm martial artists from the White Lotus Sect would inevitably fall. At first, the powerful White Lotus Sect members didn't care much, because most of the Gold Body Realm fighters belonged to subordinate forces. Secondly, in such large-scale battles, it was normal for Gold Body Realm fighters to fall. However, as an increasing number of Gold Body Realm fighters fell, including some excellent disciples from the White Lotus Sect, those powerful sect members finally realized the severity of the problem. Which heavenly pride from Morijin is still alive? Elder Shi Shoming, who had previously sent a message to Protector Huang, noticed Lu Yun's actions on the battlefield, and his face instantly turned cold. Lu Yun, a mere origin fluid realm fighter, not only survived from a half-step rune seed realm expert, but also crazily killed White Lotus sect members in the Gold Body realm staged battlefield. Such a monstrosity completely disrupted the balance of the Gold Body realm battlefield and couldn't be condoned. Shi Shoming immediately abandoned his opponent, withdrew from the Rune Seed realm battlefield, and stepped through the void to kill Lu Yun. The arrival of Shi Shoming, the White Lotus sect Rune Seed realm expert, at the Gold Body realm battlefield instantly alarmed the Demon Suppression Army and Morijin fighters, who all became cautious. Only those peerless heavenly prides and monsters could withstand the Rune Seed realm. Any Gold Body realm fighter would be no match. However, when they realized that Shi Shoming had targeted an elusive figure with a thunderous aura, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Something's wrong. It seems the target of our enemy is Lu Yun, the saint child of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. One of the sharp-eyed Gold Body realm experts was Tanchen, an elder from the South Sun Martial Academy. He noticed the lightning figure was Lu Yun and frowned. The others also noticed that Elder Shi Shoming from the White Lotus sect had targeted Lu Yun and were astonished. They all wondered what outrageous thing Lu Yun had done to make a Rune Seed realm expert cross the battlefield to suppress him at all costs. Once a Rune Seed realm expert descended on the Gold Body realm battlefield, the balance would be broken, the previous default rules would disappear, and the ensuing battle would be chaotic and without rules. Compared to the astonishment of others, Lei Kang was full of worry and anger. He was worried about Lu Yun's safety and angry that a Rune Seed realm expert would forcefully strike against Lu Yun regardless of their own status. Without any hesitation, Lei Kang immediately attacked. The Rune Seeds trembled and the runes were forcibly activated. Thunderbolts were transformed into a golden giant bird, crashing towards Elder Shi Shoming from the White Lotus sect. Boom! With a wave of Shi Shoming's hand, the runes flickered and shattered the thunderous giant bird. The difference between a half-step and a true Rune Seed realm was enormous, which could be easily discerned from just this brief engagement. Paying no attention to Lei Kang behind him, Shi Shoming's powerful aura locked onto Lu Yun, breaking through tens of thousands of voids in an instant and descending above Lu Yun's head. The overwhelming pressure swept down, golden runes filled the sky, and the surrounding void seemed to be sealed by a formidable force. A Rune Seed realm expert? Looking at the White Lotus sect expert hovering in the sky with murderous intent, Lu Yun's face turned extremely unpleasant. He never expected that a Rune Seed realm expert would break the rules and forcefully descend on the battlefield because of him. Shi Shoming's Rune Seed eyes swirled, slightly lifting his eyelids as he looked down coldly at Lu Yun, his chilling voice echoing in his ears. An origin fluid realm can survive in the half-step Rune Seed realm and cut down so many Gold Body realm fighters from my sect. This kind of talent is even more tyrannical than our Saintess. I can't let you live. As soon as he finished speaking, the runes that were filling the sky seemed to come to life, moving and forming a dense net that fell towards Lu Yun. Lu Yun knew his own limits. Right now, he would be no match against a true Rune Seed realm expert. He didn't hesitate at all. Displaying his instant horizon divine ability, the space rippled, and he vanished from the spot before the rune-formed net could fall. Seeing the now empty void, Shi Shoming's face first filled with astonishment, and then rage and shock. As a proud Rune Seed realm expert, he had stooped low to strike against an Origin Fluid Realm Junior, but, to his surprise, he couldn't even touch the corner of their clothes. How could he not be furious and ashamed? Glancing over the void, Shi Shoming located Lu Yun's figure once again. His murderous intent soared as he pursued. Damn it! Why was the distance so short just now? Lu Yun originally intended to instantly teleport tens of thousands of miles away to escape the battlefield. Chapter 362. A single strand moves the whole body. Big Brawl _2. However, at the most critical moment, it was as if the space had been fortified, and he had only managed to teleport a mere dozen miles. Just an early-stage rune seed realm could restrain his instant horizon ability to such an extent. What about the middle and late stages of the rune seed realm? If he was facing a peak rune seed realm, or even a powerful one of the golden core realm, wouldn't that mean there's absolutely no hope of escaping? Upon realizing this, Lu Yun's heart surged with turbulent waves. The instant horizon ability was his biggest reliance, and it was also his means to survive on a battlefield filled with powerful enemies. Now, he suddenly realized that there were massive loopholes and hidden dangers in his means of survival. Fortunately, I discovered it early, and fortunately, I faced only an early-stage rune seed realm, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Thinking it over, Lu Yun broke out in a cold sweat. If a powerful enemy from the middle or later stages of the rune seed realm or above appeared, he didn't know if he could successfully escape before the opponent's attack struck. "Young one, you can't escape." A cold snort sounded from behind. Shiming's eyes were full of gloom and murderous intent. He must seize the time, otherwise, once the powerhouses of Demon Suppression Army reacted, he would have no chance to act. Therefore, he did not hesitate to use the power of the rune seed to speed up and rush toward Lu Yun. Unfortunately, he overestimated himself. When he arrived at the Golden Body Realm battlefield right away, the powerhouses of Marine had already noticed. Among them, Wei Zongqing saw that the person attacked by the White Lotus Sect's rune seed realm was Lu Yun. His eyes moved slightly and he crossed the boundary right away. More than 70 rune lights burst forth, forcefully breaking through the obstruction of many strong people from the White Lotus Sect and crushing towards Shiming. The silver-white spear exploded with extreme speed, pressing down from the void. Its fierce power directly caused Shiming's body to tremble and the runes to vibrate. At the moment when Lu Yun was preparing to use the instant horizon to escape again, he felt relieved when he sensed Wei Zongqing's help arrive. The instant horizon as a trump card should be used as little as possible. Nevertheless, he still deployed the 3000 thunder movement, forcing his way out of this battlefield, to avoid attracting the attention of more powerful entities. Damn it! On Shiming's fierce face, filled with rage, he was so close to catching up with the Origin Fluid Realm youngster and killing him, but now he was blocked by Wei Zongqing. Wei Zongqing's eyes flashed, revealing a divine light, his cold voice ringing in the other's ear. "Do you want to kill the heavenly pride of my Marine? You'll have to ask me first." Black Mountain Seal. Transforming into a huge mountain, falling from the sky. Not good. Shiming was horrified. He had heard about the power of the Black Mountain Seal, a treasure of the Black Mountain Sect, which could easily defeat opponents of higher tiers once controlled. Moreover, the most terrifying part of the Black Mountain Seal was the Black Silence Profound Thunder. Even an ordinary powerhouse of the Golden Core realm had to deal with it carefully, let alone a strong player of Rune Seed realm. Damn it, how did the Black Mountain Seal fall into his hands? Caught off guard, the surrounding void was sealed by the Black Mountain Seal. Powerful Black Silence, Profound Thunder twined around the Black Mountain Seal, and then turned into black snakes and flood dragons, pouring down. At this moment, Shiming felt himself wrapped in endless black thunder. A surge of great fear rose from his heart. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't shake off the suppression of the Black Mountain Seal in such a short time. With each battle, Wei Zongqing became more proficient in controlling the Black Mountain Seal. The Black Silence Profound Thunder under his control posed a threat to mid-stage powerhouses of the Rune Seed realm. Shiming, who was just in the early stage of Rune Seed realm, how could he possibly escape his palm? "Save me!" Feeling fearful, Shiming sensed the crisis of life and death, and shouted for help. Many powerful persons were watching the battle from a distance. Among them, a Rune Seed realm powerhouse from the White Lotus Sect saw Shiming losing, crossed the boundary directly, and wanted to rescue him urgently. But in terms of Rune Seed Realm powerhouses, Marine had more than the White Lotus sect. How could they let them take action? Earlier, Sure Shoming had broken the rules and crossed the boundary forcefully, which had already caused dissatisfaction among Marine's side. Naturally, they won't let them get what they want this time. In an instant, the battle on the Rune Seed Realm battlefield became more intense. Various rune lights flickered throughout the sky. Superior profound artifacts and treasure artifacts were sacrificed, and the resulting shock waves spread, affecting all the way to the sky and down to the mountains, plains, and canyons. At the same time, Wei Zongqing fully utilized the Black Mountain Seal. The black silence profound thunder turned into several stout flood dragons. They entwined Sure Shuming's body, binding him tightly and slowly swallowing him. His body began to collapse, the rune seed exploded, and the runes turned into dazzling lights, disappearing in the sky like meteors in an instant. Previously, where the sky was filled with a single mountain peak engulfed in black thunder, it gradually shrunk and turned into a black seal, flying before Wei Zongqing. This scene enraged numerous Rune Seed Realm strongmen of the White Lotus sect. Seeking death. Kill. They didn't expect Wei Zongqing to kill Sure Shoming so fast. This was already the third Rune Seed Realm powerhouse that had fallen from the White Lotus sect since the beginning of the war. Even in the White Lotus sect, Rune Seed Realm powerhouses were considered top-tier combatants. The war had just officially started not long ago, and they've already lost 3. On the other hand, Marine had only lost 1. This, naturally, made them feel unwilling and prompted them to exert their law runes even more. Even several Rune Seed Realm powerhouses crossed the boundary forcefully to attack Wei Zongqing. Chapter 363. A single strand moves the whole body. Big Brawl 3. In an instant, several terrifyingly powerful forces erupted. Wei Zongqing's heart was heavy, as they had finally reached this step where there was no longer a distinction between battlefields, and the Golden Body Realm and the Rune Seed Realm would all be fighting in chaos. At the same time, facing the sudden crisis, Wei Zongqing's expression remained calm as he activated the Black Mountain Seal once again. Retreating at this point was impossible. Only by facing the battle head-on did he have the chance to survive. If you want to kill this general, let's see if you have the ability to do so. Wei Zongqing's aura surged, his law runes becoming even more dazzling as if undergoing some kind of transformation. Just then, one of the Rune Seed Realm experts surrounding Wei Zongqing suddenly changed direction and quickly dove towards another direction. Not good. The real intention of the other party is to attack Lu Yun by using the encirclement of Wei Zongqing as a decoy. Lei Kang immediately realized and hurriedly called for help from other experts. The one attacking Lu Yun was a Rune Seed Realm midterm expert. Even if Lei Kang wanted to help, he wouldn't have the strength to do so. Elder Lei, don't worry. Lu Yun is the Martial Academy's saint child. We won't leave him unattended. Lu had already crossed the border to be here, and after signaling Lei Kang to concentrate on his opponent, he chased after the direction of Lu Yun's escape. At the same time, more and more Rune Seed Realm experts descended. Boom! A heavy bell rang, and where the sound passed, space itself trembled violently. Several White Lotus sect Rune Seed Realm experts looked as if they had heard a terrible sound upon hearing the bell. Their faces changed drastically. Not good, it's his move. Under the heavy and melodious bell, all the rune seeds attacking Wei Zongqing shattered. An ancient bronze bell descended from the void, and its terrifying suppressive power made the Rune Seed Realm experts feel desperate. The person behind the bronze ancient bell terrified them even more. He was one of the most powerful Earth-rank demon extermination generals in the Demon Suppression Army, by Changfeng, who had reached the peak of the Rune Seed Realm. He had condensed a top-grade rune seed, and his combat power had already surpassed his own realm. With the bronze ancient bell as his treasure, he was almost invincible in the Rune Seed Realm. As an invincible existence in the Rune Seed Realm, His presence now was more than what the few average rune seed experts could handle. Just as the bronze ancient bell was about to suppress them, a majestic and heavy saber sound echoed from the void. Narrow fractures spread out from the deep sky at an extremely fast speed, covering 100 miles in an instant. The cracks expanded rapidly, and in the next instant, a shocking saber light exploded from the crack, smashing violently onto the bronze ancient bell. An extreme collision occurred, and the bronze ancient bell was knocked away. The saber light that stretched across the sky also disappeared. Everything happened too quickly. By the time these rune seed realm experts reacted, two figures had already appeared in the sky. A man with white hair stood with a saber on his back. The other was clad in battle armor, suspended in midair, with a bronze-colored ancient bell hovering above his head. Second Elder, General Bai. Seeing the two awe-inspiring presences that suddenly appeared, both sides' rune seed realm and golden body realm experts showed excited expressions. Wei Zongqing cupped his fist slightly towards Bai Changfeng in his battle armor. "Thank you, General Bai, for your assistance. You and I are both Earth-rank demon extermination generals, serving Morijin. It's only right to help each other out." A cold voice sounded, and Bai Changfeng's eyes locked onto the second elder of the White Lotus sect, his eyes sparkling with divine light, with dazzling runes and the hovering ancient bronze bell sending out a melodious, heavy sound. "Severing Void Saber, it seems you are the second elder of the White Lotus sect." As one of the most powerful Earth-rank demon extermination generals in the Demon Suppression Army, Bai Changfeng had some understanding of the White Lotus sect's powerful treasures and experts. The Severing Void Saber was the famous treasure of the White Lotus sect's second elder. In the past, relying on it, he had killed an invincible rune seed realm opponent, making his name known throughout the 100 sects and even Morijin. "Humph, I didn't expect that an invincible Earth-rank demon extermination general from the Demon Suppression Army would know my reputation." The second elder of the White Lotus sect snorted coldly and attacked directly. The Severing Void Saber tore through the air, and an extremely dense saber chi condensed into a white arc, spanning 10,000 feet across the void and slashing directly at Bai Changfeng. Almost at the same time, the White Lotus sect experts behind him once again rushed towards Wei Zongqing. Seeing this, Bai Changfeng only sneered and did not intend to stop them. The bell rang, and the heavy bell sound mixed with runes swept forward, colliding with the saber light that spanned 10,000 feet across the void. Space shattered immediately. Both clashed with a power far beyond the rune seed realm. Outsiders who didn't know any better would think that it was a battle between Golden Core True Masters. In fact, the two of them were almost invincible in the rune seed realm, and the fluctuations produced by their battles were not much different from those of real Golden Core True Masters. Their battle was just the beginning of the complete fusion of the Golden Body Realm and Rune Seed Realm battlefield. Before long, even the Golden Core Realm battlefield would be integrated, which would be the true climax and final battle. In another part of the battlefield, Lu Yun had escaped and was planning to hide for some time. After the turmoil he had caused subsided, he would reappear to harvest demon extermination points. However, not long after, he felt a powerful aura approaching at a rapid speed. From the oppressive feeling transmitted from afar, Lu Yun could vaguely guess that the strength of the opponent was not just at the beginning of the Rune Seed realm. It was probably at least at the mid-stage of the Rune Seed realm. Facing such an expert, Lu Yun naturally wouldn't be foolish enough to wait for the opponent to catch up. He used the instant horizon technique and disappeared in an instant. Boom! Right where Lu Yun had just left, a giant hand formed by runes slammed down, but it hit nothing. He ran away? A White Lotus sect Rune Seed realm expert looked at the empty void incredulously, his eyes filled with flickering light, wondering what he was thinking. Suddenly, he felt a sense of danger and quickly covered his body with golden runes. The dazzling runes roared loudly, forming a golden light curtain in front of him, blocking the attack from the depths of space. Chapter 364. Lu Yun retreats. Powerful figures arrive in succession to think of killing me. The saint child of the martial academy wouldn't be that simple. By the time Lu Yun arrived at the battlefield, Lu had already noticed him. The martial academy's saint child truly lived up to his name, slaughtering those within the golden body realm as if they were nothing. He forced back someone at the half-step rune seed realm and managed to escape from a rune seed realm beginner. Moreover, single-handedly, he accelerated the inevitable approach of the final all-out conflict. Now, being pursued and killed by an intermediate strong man in the rune seed realm, he could no longer constrain himself and finally stepped in to help. However, Lu Yun left him in awe once again. Using some unknown method, he escaped from the rune seed realm intermediate pursuer in the blink of an eye, and even he himself couldn't sense where Lu Yun had gone. At this point, as Lu Yun had already escaped the crisis, there was no need for him to worry any longer. His primary task now was to handle this strong man from the White Lotus sect. With a thud sound as if a celestial deity descended, Lu stepped out into the void, claiming the highest position. His pupils seemed to house the sun, moon, and the stars as he looked down upon the intermediate rune seed realm member of the White Lotus sect. Seeing this, the strong man from the White Lotus sect in the rune seed realm intuitively knew he was in danger and immediately fell back. The might that Lu carried was too powerful. It must be at least a realm higher than him. If he lets him stay, it would be dangerous. Stay! With Lu's thunderous shout, the heaven and earth trembled, causing ripples to spread. Runes filled the sky, creating a golden net that scaled off the void. Seeing this, the White Lotus sect strong man was alarmed. He hadn't imagined that Lu's technique could be so swift that he could set up this large array in an instant. My previous move was merely to ensure that there was enough time to set the big formation. I wouldn't let you resolve it so easily, Lu said coldly. He waved his hand, and the giant rune-covered net quickly tightened, constantly shrinking the opponent's living space. Even if he tried his hardest, he could only maintain a circular area a few hundreds of feet wide. Watching this, Lu nodded in satisfaction. After all, even if he himself was in the late stage of the rune seed realm, to kill someone in the mid-stage would still require some effort. Moreover, if the other party decided to escape at any cost, there was nothing he could do about it. This way, by fully scaling off the space, he wasn't afraid of the opponent escaping without fighting. Damn it! Looking at his escape route being completely sealed off, the rune seed realm strong man from the White Lotus sect was both horrified and furious. He was merely chasing after a thorn in the side of the marine, and unexpectedly fell into the hands of a stronger opponent. Regret filled his eyes. Lu had no intention to waste words with him. Lu drove the rune seed realm. A powerful gust of air spiraled upwards, destroying the void, and then, an endless wave-like storm surged out, ferociously suppressing the White Lotus sect powerhouse in the rune seed realm. The storm swept the sky, shredding layers of space apart. The rune seed realm strong man's face drastically changed when he saw the overwhelming storm coming. Regardless of the cost, he took out his rune seed. Countless law runes appeared in an instant, attempting to forcibly suppress this terrifying storm that's tearing the space apart. However, underneath, in the next breath, the windstorm, as big as tens of thousands of feet, fell, and the fearsome force that crushed the heavens and the earth fully exploded. The law runes shattered instantly. Only the rune seed that upheld all the law runes shone brilliantly, maintaining all like a divine pearl settling the sea. However, the rune seed was not omnipotent. It also had its own limits. With constant confrontation, the brilliant light it radiated gradually dimmed, and finally, it could only emit a weak gleam. Under the terrifying flurry, it was crushed. No! As the rune seed shattered and the squall loomed over him again, the rune seed realm member of the White Lotus sect let out a voice of desperation and anger. In the end, his formidable body was crushed into dust, and his golden blood scattered across the sky. Lu Yun, who had just escaped from the pursuit, felt a great disturbance in the void hundreds of miles away, along with a voice filled with unwillingness and rage. His heart stirred a little, but he did not look back. After the cooldown period, he used the instant horizon divine ability again. With no strong interference, he was able to travel tens of thousands of miles away in an instant, completely leaving the battlefield. Atop a huge mountain peak, Lu Yun glanced back at the boundless battlefield enveloped in a murderous aura and murmured to himself, "I suppose it's all-out chaos by now. The Rune Seed Realm strongmen have no fears, and if any of the Golden Body Realm strongmen show themselves too much, they're likely to be attacked viciously. I showed off too much earlier and probably caught the attention of most of the strong men of the White Lotus sect. I'll return to the battlefield after the storm has passed." After considering for a moment, Lu Yun decided to temporarily withdraw from the battlefield. Soon after, he brought out his plentiful spoils of war, revealing 8 Sumi rings of various sizes. These Sumi rings were all acquired from Golden Body Realm members, and each had a space of at least 100 square feet. Even if there were no pills or spiritual objects inside, they were still considered a good harvest. However, given the current situation, Lu Yun hoped there were more pills and spiritual objects inside. He did not disappoint. Not only were there pills and spiritual items, there were also quite a few spirit crystals. Furthermore, 2 of the Sumi rings contained a cultivation technique each. Clear Wind, Bright Moon Steps, Green Lotus 12 swords. One was a set of stepping techniques and the other for sword skills. Unfortunately, none were a good fit for him, leaving Lu Yun somewhat disappointed. "I'll give these to the village chief and my eldest brother when I have the time." Shaking his head slightly, Lu Yun stowed the 2 unexpected cultivation techniques away. The rest of his spoils consisted of 12,003 spirit crystals, which he would use shortly and did not stow away. Immediately, he turned his attention to several jade bottles and boxes on the table. Inside these jade bottles were pills, with most of them being 6th-grade pills and a few 5th-grade pills. Chapter 365. Lu Yun retreats. Powerful figures arrive in succession. _2 Inside the jade box were some spiritual objects, such as star spirit grass, octagonal profound ice grass, demonic heart grass, heavenly heart flower, and more than 10 other types, all used for refining 6th-grade pills. However, these objects were sparse and could not form a complete set of ingredients needed for refining 6th-grade pills. Seeing this, Lu Yun had no intention of keeping them for alchemy purposes and simply refined all of them in one go. Shortly after, a message appeared on the panel. Plus 37,000 energy value. Based on his previous experience with pills, consuming a bottle with 6 pills would have increased his energy value by around 7 to 5 points. With so many spiritual objects, the fact that they could only be converted into 37,000 energy value points meant that their efficiency was greatly discounted. Still, the fact that all these resources were stolen made Lu Yun feel somewhat better. Afterwards, he refined all the pills in one swoop. Took nearly half the time to refine 5 5th-grade pills and 12 6th-grade pills completely. Plus 7,500 energy value plus 89,000 energy value. Opening the panel. Name, Lu Yun Influence. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Cultivation Technique. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, Origin Fluid Chapter, Reach Profound IO%. Omitting. Innate Talent. Level 8 Martial Arts. Extreme Boundary of the Origin Fluid Realm. Energy Value. 100,500 automatically increases by 4 per day. Conception. Slaughter Conception, 5th rank 70%. Thunder Conception, 2nd rank 27%. Spatial Conception, 1st rank 17%. Skill. Level 6 Alchemy Technique, 27%. Talent. White Lotus Flame, 4th rank 1%. Luck value 69. Seeing the energy value on the panel breaking through the 100,000 mark once again, Lu Yun nodded in satisfaction and then looked at the pure yang martial arts canon. The origin fluid chapter is about to achieve perceived truth. Suppressing his inner excitement, Lu Yun focused his mind and began distributing points. After consuming 20,000 energy value points, the origin fluid chapter showed no reaction. He consumed another 20,000 energy value points and still no reaction. However, Lu Yun didn't panic. He had already learned from the information about the pure yang martial arts canon on his panel that it would take 50,000 energy value points to upgrade the origin fluid chapter from the limit of reach profound to perceive truth. The reason it required so many energy value points was that advancing to the perceived truth level would not only build a perfect foundation, but also further increase his innate talent. After consuming another 10,000 energy value points, the panel's energy value sharply declined, leaving only 50,500 points left. At this moment, a change occurred once again in the dantian, and the golden yuan high roared fiercely. A vortex appeared around Lu Yun, possessing a strong suction power, which quickly spread in all directions. Endless heavenly and earthly spiritual qi surged toward him. Lu Yun was immediately shocked. He had thought that his 99 feet long yuan high had already reached its limit. However, he didn't expect his dantian to continue mutating, expanding in all directions while the distance between its bottom and top kept increasing. Realizing this, Lu Yun hurriedly took out the remaining spirit crystals he had kept earlier and added them to the more than 10,000 spirit crystals that were piled up in front of him, providing spiritual power support for Yuan Hall's expansion and promotion. As Lu Yun underwent his transformation and promotion, the endless battlefield in the distance had entered a white-hot stage. With the fall of one golden body realm or rune seed realm expert after another, the powerful members of the White Lotus sect had completely changed their expressions. "Do you really want to completely destroy our White Lotus sect?" Enraged at the sight of the sect's protectors and disciples falling, the White Lotus sect's great elder stared angrily at the towering figure opposite him, shouting, "The White Lotus sect should have been destroyed hundreds of years ago. The imperial court tolerated your existence because you shared the same inheritance as the human race, allowing you to survive this long. But, instead of reflecting on your actions, you attempted to nibble away at the foundations of our Morrijin. You brought this destruction upon yourselves. Today, the mission of our demon suppression army is to eradicate you, so that the White Lotus sect will be expelled from the 100 sects." In the cave of light and shadows, a giant figure enveloped in golden light stood in the air. This golden core realm true master was none other than the heavenly level demon extermination general of the demon suppression army, Duguyuan. He appeared middle-aged, and his eyes emitted golden light when they opened and closed, like a golden thunderbolt tearing through the void. In contrast, the White Lotus sect's great elder looked like an old man with white hair and beard. "If that's the case, don't you fear that our White Lotus sect will drag you down with us?" The White Lotus sect's great elder shouted loudly. "Humph, at this stage of cultivation, do you really have the guts or the power to do that?" Duguyuan responded calmly. Golden Core Realm true masters condensed their entire essence, chi, and spirit into the Golden Core. As long as the Golden Core remained unbroken, they could potentially reincarnate with a trace of consciousness. Although the success rate was much lower compared to the celestial human's reincarnation, there was still a slim chance. If the golden core were to shatter or explode, there would be no chance of reincarnation and the hundreds of years of cultivation and accumulation would be destroyed. This was something a golden core realm true master could never allow. Moreover, as Duguyuan had stated, even if the opponent were to detonate their golden core, they wouldn't be able to take him down with them. Golden Core Realm experts could rebuild their bodies using the power of the Golden Core, even if their physical bodies were destroyed. Furthermore, Golden Core Realm experts could teleport thousands of miles away in an instant. It would be impossible for them to perish together with a fellow expert of the same realm due to the latter's self-explosion. The expression of the White Lotus sect's great elder changed. The opponent's contemptuous attitude and confident words were filled with the resolve not to rest until the White Lotus sect was destroyed. This left the great elder deeply concerned about the fate of the sect. Our White Lotus sect has more than just one Golden Core Realm expert. The Supreme Elder and Holy Master are both top-tier experts within the Golden Core Realm, not to mention our sect's sacred object, the Ninetum Pure Heart White Lotus. If you want to destroy our White Lotus sect, even the Demon Suppression Army will have to bite off a piece of their own flesh. Is the Morijin Imperial Court really willing to pay such a price? Chapter 366. Lu Yun retreats, powerful figures arrive in succession. 3 The great elder of the White Lotus sect looks solemn, still hoping to find a glimmer of possibility to stop the war. In this battle, even the Red Moon Demon sect has no chance of survival, let alone the White Lotus sect. Duguyuan spoke bluntly. Upon hearing this, the great elder of the White Lotus sect trembled. The Red Moon Demon sect, though not the absolute strongest among the 100 sects, was at least in the top 3, with a celestial human realm expert in command. They were far more powerful than the White Lotus sect could hope to compete with. If even the formidable Red Moon Demon sect was to be eradicated by Morijin, did his White Lotus sect stand a chance at survival? Not daring to even think about it, the great elder of the White Lotus sect struggled to raise his head, his gaze penetrating the void, falling upon Duguyuan, and tentatively asked, "What if my White Lotus sect submits to Morijin and the Imperial Court?" Very simple. Abolish the original foundation and start anew. Duguyuan spoke solemnly, his eyes full of intimidation, staring at the opponent. "You don't even think about it." The great elder of the White Lotus sect's face changed. Abolishing the foundation of the White Lotus sect was no different from destroying their inheritance. Furthermore, once their foundation was abolished, wouldn't the old fellows who had lived for hundreds of years be sentenced to death? How could they possibly agree to such harsh conditions? Great Elder, at this point, still harboring illusions about Morijin, is utterly childish. Just then, an authoritative voice echoed, as if coming from beyond the domain. It shook people's hearts and made their souls tremble. Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect, Wan Lian. Duguyuan looked at the figure soaring across the sky in the distance, enveloped by an imposing aura. A figure bathed in brilliant light, standing on a sacred lotus, appeared to be a god descending from beyond the domain. The air around them exploded with unequaled terrifying waves that spread over the battlefield. The immense power of this presence made even the souls of those in the Gold Body realm tremble, and even those in the Rune Seed realm shook in fear. The arriving Wan Lian was far more powerful than both Duguyuan and the great elder of the White Lotus sect. Her entire body was enveloped in a holy light, dazzlingly radiant. One could only perceive a terrifying aura circulating around her, but couldn't see her true form. Upon closer inspection, the sacred lotus beneath her feet had 8 petals, exuding a holy aura that subtly transformed the atmosphere, making one's mind sink into intoxication. It's the Supreme Elder. Many disciples and powerhouses of the White Lotus sect shouted, as if they had seen hope, becoming extremely excited. They all knew of the Supreme Elder's strength. Hundreds of years ago, they had entered the Golden Core realm, and were once on par with the Holy Master. They had even once fought for the position of Holy Master. Seeing the appearance of the Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect in person, Duguyuan showed no surprise or fear. His target was the Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect. Others would be dealt with by other powerhouses. Divine power illuminated everything, like a giant sun descending upon the earth. The entire sky shook, thunder roared, filling the vast battlefield with a terrifying divine radiance. Covered in golden armor and inscribed with runes, she appeared to be a goddess, her body circulating with the power of a golden core, intimidating the souls of those present and leaving them breathless. Wan Lian, I have been waiting for you for a long time. The powerhouse, who was enveloped by golden light and resembled a giant sun, spoke, giving a sense of inviolable majesty. Heavenly level demon extermination general, Ling Hu Dao. The White Lotus sect looked at the descending powerhouse with solemn expressions. The White Lotus sect will be destroyed. If you all submit to execution, your disciples will have a slim chance of survival. Otherwise, there will be mountains of corpses and bones. Ling Hu Dao's words fell, an overwhelming battle intent erupted, shaking the mountains with just his aura, causing the earth and sky to tremble. This power far surpassed Dug Yuan and others in the early stages of the Golden Core realm. Back then, our 100 sects retreated from the 9 states, surrendered it to Morijin, depleted our sect's foundation, and barely managed to occupy the coastal territories by snatching from the Sea Clan. Now, Morijin pursues relentlessly, slaughtering all the way to the White Mountain domain, and even attempting to annihilate my White Lotus sect. Do they intend to completely push the 100 sects onto a single battlefront? Even if Morijin were to win in the end, their strength would be greatly damaged. By that time, the demon beasts would counterattack, the 9 states would fall, and the imperial court would crumble. Wan Lian threatened. It's not about whether the 100 sects can unite or not, but even if they do, with Morijin's current foundation, it is far beyond your imagination. Ling Hu Dao's words were resolute and decisive. Wan Lian fell silent. In fact, she was aware of the current situation of the 100 sects, continuously splitting into several camps with numerous internal contradictions. Even powerful enemies such as Morijin and the Sea Clan couldn't unite them. Talking more would be useless and would only lower the White Lotus sect's morale. Moreover, it would be unbecoming of her identity as a Golden Core realm true master. After a long silence, she slowly said, "As the supreme elder of the White Lotus sect, I cannot let it be destroyed. If that's the case, we shall fight." At this moment, the sacred lotus beneath her feet erupted with a supremely holy light, and divine radiance spread through the air. Under this contrast, she appeared like a noble goddess, dazzling and breathtaking. "Then follow me to the high void for battle." Ling Hu Dao let out a soft laugh. His towering figure transformed into a golden sun, rushing straight up into the sky. Chapter 367. River of Rules, Golden Giant Palm. Let's battle in the sky then. The supreme elder of the White Lotus sect, Wan Lian, shouted, and the lotus platform beneath his feet blossomed with 8 petals, with its sacred radiance surging forth. Boom! They soared up into the 9 heavens, where the ancient boundless void appeared incredibly vast. The ocean of runes collided within the space but couldn't create much of a spark. However, from the ground below, it was as if countless dazzling meteorites were hurtling down across the boundless void. When they plummeted to the ground, entire mountain ranges crumbled and rivers broke flow. It was obvious that the battle between Ling Hu Dao and the supreme elder of the White Lotus sect had reached earth-shattering levels that resembled tempestuous thunderclouds, glowing meteors, and falling meteorites. But now, with the battle fully erupted and the battlefield split into chaos, they couldn't spare any attention to the fray happening above the 9 heavens, as both sides were involved in intense battles. This bloody war was far more brutal than before in the territories of the Black Mountain sect or the Cloud Sea sect. As a second-tier existence among the 100 sects, the White Lotus sect had accumulated thousands of years of strength and countless disciples and protectors of the cultivation. They had even convened some subordinate forces earlier, making their scale not much smaller than the Demon Suppression Army. "I will not let the UC sect go. I will eradicate you all here and now," a mighty Rune Seed Realm expert said with incredible force as he killed the Demon Suppression Army and Mo Rijin martial artist, setting his body alight, disregarding his injuries, and fighting desperately as if his sole mission was to fight. Pooh! He coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and half of his body was shattered by a killer rune attack that was dominating and fierce, causing his already cracking body to shatter once again. Cloud Sea Sect Leader, so you're really here. Zhuang Ziyuan stepped on the promising path of golden light to arrive there, his eyes resplendent like a war god. He had just slain a mighty rune seed realm expert from the White Lotus sect and came to the rescue. Like a golden river, it fell and pushed the Cloud Sea Sect leader back, causing his body to shatter once again. After slaying several rune seed experts, his power had grown stronger and stronger, with a faint hint of breaking through the late stage of the rune seed realm. It was you who destroyed my Cloud Sea Sect. The Cloud Sea Sect leader had murderous and resentful eyes fixed on Zhuang Ziyuan, standing on the radiant and promising path, his voice hoarse. That's right, it was me, and you will also die by my hand, helping me ascend to the late stage of the rune seed realm. With thunderous divine sound and dazzling golden light, Zhuang Ziyuan waved his hand, and 85 powerful law runes revolved around him. When compared with the prior times, these law runes had become even more concentrated and powerful, transforming into waves of golden rivers that shook heaven and earth. Good, very good. Today, no matter the cost, I will annihilate you. The Cloud Sea Sect leader burned his own runes, and the broken body emitted bright vitality that slowly healed. In no time, he had recovered to his peak state. Watching this scene, Zhuang Ziyuan was neither happy nor sad, as a series of golden rivers surged and rolled down. Upon recovering to his peak state, the Cloud Sea Sect leader, with his immense divine power and treasured appearance, shouted loudly. 100 stars streak across the sky. Then, 100 purple light balls danced around, each one connecting to form a line, and finally converging into a daylight-like purple light ball that crossed the golden river and landed in front of Zhuang Ziyuan. Boom! For that instant the area was filled with an intense brightness, and nothing could be seen. This was a strike the Cloud Sea Sect leader had forcefully stimulated using the foundation of his own rune seeds, erupting with unparalleled power. Even a typical peak rune seed realm expert wouldn't dare face its edge head-on. Zhuang Ziyuan's array of runes were crushed, and the golden river dissipated while his body was covered in blood. Only the golden light path under his feet remained unshakable. From this, it could be seen how powerful Zhuang Ziyuan and his golden light path were. Even the terrifying power unleashed by the Cloud Sea Sect leader's forcible rune seed manipulation couldn't destroy it. As for the Cloud Sea Sect leader, he first burned his runes and then used the rune seed potential, making his energy far less robust than before. Even the black hair on his head had turned gray. His one strike failed, leaving him with no regrets or resentment but merely a tragic expression. However, lurking in the depths of his eyes was a barely noticeable gloomy color. At that moment, an unprotected figure suddenly charged out, wielding the sky battle spear, smashing towards Zhuang Ziyuan. The golden light path trembled, stirring up ripples in space. Afterward, Zhuang Ziyuan let out a poo sound, spewing out golden blood, and his figure retreated, while the golden light path momentarily weakened. Yun Shan? So it was you, the traitorous dog. Zhuang Ziyuan stopped his retreat, and the golden light path below his feet solidified again. However, his face turned even paler, and it was clear that he was struggling to hold on. Zhuang Ziyuan, did you ever think there would be a day like this when you destroyed my Cloud Sea Sect? Yun Shan, once known as the Cloud Sea Sect's supreme elder, who had fled the sect. Now, after landing a sneak attack on Zhuang Ziyuan that caused heavy injuries, his old face was filled with hatred and smugness. In order to score a single lethal blow, the Cloud Sea Sect leader spared no effort, serving himself as bait and even burning his own runes and using the potential of his rune seeds. Burning the runes could still be refined, but once the potential of the rune seeds was used, it meant breaking the foundation and having no hope for higher martial arts. They spent such a high price just for one lethal blow, showing the hatred they held for Zhuang Ziyuan, as deep as the surging rivers and endless seas. Zhuang Ziyuan didn't speak as his gaze scanned the Cloud Sea sect leader and Yun Shan. Then, he let out a mysterious laugh. Chapter 368. River of Rules, Golden Giant Palm _2. Killing 2 late-stage Rune Seed Realm practitioners should be enough for me to break through. As soon as the words were spoken, the Cloud Sea sect leader seemed to sense something and quickly shouted, "Yun Shan, attack now." At the same time, he did not remain idle, seizing the opportunity while he could still maintain his peak state, and once again used the potential of the Rune Seed to launch a strong attack on Zhuang Ziyuan. As a strong late-stage Rune Seed Realm practitioner, Yun Shan was naturally sensitive to danger. Moreover, he had fought Zhuang Ziyuan before and knew that this Earth-rank demon extermination general was powerful and had divine means at his disposal. Even if he was severely injured, he could still have a deadly final trump card. Therefore, the moment the Cloud Sea sect leader took action, Yun Shan followed suit. The Sky Battle Spear activated its runes, with unparalleled spear radiance sweeping across the void, and the starry light triggered by the Cloud Sea sect leader arrived one after another. Zhuang Ziyuan's eyes flashed, and 85 golden law runes appeared around his body. The light from these law runes shone like an intensely bright sun, incredibly powerful. Immediately, the promising golden path under his feet shot out and transformed into an even stronger golden law rune, faintly becoming the core of the remaining runes. Then, an endless golden river formed, crossing the void. Surrounding it were 85 smaller golden rivers, their waves blending in an instant into the largest golden river. The boundless sky was filled with the rolling golden river, as if everything was swept into it. Divine ability of Rune Seed? Upon seeing this terrifying golden river, both the Cloud Sea sect leader and Supreme Elder Yun Shan were shocked. They did not expect that Zhuang Ziyuan seemed to have also comprehended the divine ability of the Rune Seed, and it appeared to be incredibly powerful. Caught off guard, both of them were directly pulled into the Golden River. At this moment, infinite gravitational and crushing forces emerged from the Golden River, as if trying to completely tear apart their bodies and burn their souls. Damn it! How could he comprehend the divine ability of the Rune Seed Realm at this stage? The terrifying power within the Golden River that could crush heaven and earth and rip everything apart caused the body of the White Lotus sect leader to collapse again. Even if he burned more runes, he couldn't stop this situation. Yun Shan, who had reached the late stage of the Rune Seed Realm later, and was slightly weaker, was faring even worse at this moment. In just a few breaths, he felt his body rapidly disintegrating. What terrified him the most was that the power of the laws above the runes seemed to be dissipating, continuously flowing into the Golden River, becoming Zhuang Ziyuan's nourishment. Realizing this, he didn't dare to delay any longer and burned his runes, pouring all of his power into the Sky Battle Spear. He then fiercely pierced toward the source of the Golden River. The source of the Golden River was Zhuang Ziyuan. Only by making him fall or severely injuring him could they end his divine ability of the Rune Seed. In an instant, the Sky Battle Spear infused with Yun Shan's full force pierced through the void, carrying in its wake an overwhelming power, and struck down upon Zhuang Ziyuan, instantly shattering his battle armor and severely injuring his body. However, Zhuang Ziyuan still stood tall, and his divine ability of the Rune Seed did not disappear. This scene left the Cloud Sea sect leader and Yun Shan in utter shock. What a powerful body! Are we really going to become his nourishment for advancement? Will the last hope of the Cloud Sea sect be destroyed like this? Feeling their bodies collapsing faster and faster, with almost 1/3 of the laws on their runes flowing into the Golden River, the 2 pillars of the Cloud Sea sect were filled with boundless despair. Zhuang Ziyuan endured the pain of his injuries and maintained his divine ability of the Rune Seed, the Law River. This was his most powerful means and the divine ability that led him to great heights. As long as he could persist for half an hour longer, the Cloud Sea sect leader and supreme elder Yunshan would become completely integrated into the Law River. By then, he would have reached the late stage of the Rune Seed realm in one fell swoop. With the divine ability of the Law River, he could compete with the peak of the Rune Seed realm. His only concern now was whether other powerful members of the White Lotus sect would interrupt him. If that happened, not only would his efforts be in vain, but he would also suffer unprecedented damage. However, an arrow on the bowstring had to be released. Yunshan's sudden appearance and sneak attack had disrupted his previous plan. As long as the promising golden path stood tall, he still had room to maneuver even if other powerful opponents appeared. But, facing two late-stage Rune Seed realm powerhouses, he had no choice but to offer up his most powerful rune, the promising golden path, and fully activate the Law Divine ability. As time passed, no other powerful members of the White Lotus sect arrived, which made Zhuang Ziyuan let out a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, the two pillars of the Cloud Sea sect fell into complete despair. Now, the powerful members of the White Lotus sect and other sects were fully engaged in battle. Why would anyone have the leisure to save them? As the laws in their bodily runes flowed away faster and faster, their bodies also disintegrated more rapidly, unable to withstand the terrifying crushing force within the Law River any longer. As time passed, it became apparent that the aura of the Cloud Sea sect leader and Yunshan was getting weaker and weaker, while Zhuang Ziyuan's aura was becoming stronger, showing signs of breaking through. In this sequence, it finally caught the eyes of some powerful individuals. The Cloud Sea sect leader and the Supreme Elder together are no match for Zhuang Ziyuan? No, that Golden River is a Rune Seed divine ability, suppressing the power of two late-stage Rune Seed realm experts to the point where they are unable to retaliate? They were unable to detect the situation and effect of Zhuang Ziyuan's Rune Seed divine ability and could only feel disbelief. Those who understood the Rune Seed divine ability were not 1 in 10,000, but those who were able to comprehend the Rune Seed divine ability at the middle stage of the Rune Seed realm were extremely rare. No, the Cloud Sea sect leader and Yunshan are once-in-lifetime experts who have a great impact on the current battle situation and must not be allowed to fall. Witnessing this scene and reacting promptly, some powerful individuals immediately went to the rescue. Unfortunately, as soon as they made their move, they were stopped by several Earth-rank demon extermination generals and Rune Seed realm experts on the side of Morijin. Zhuang Ziyuan watched this scene, feeling relieved. No good, I have to speed up, or there will be too much change. With the feedback from the Law River, his aura grew stronger and stronger, and his control over the Rune Seed divine ability became stronger as well. On the other side, trapped in the Law River, Yunshan abandoned all thoughts and burned his runes without hesitation, utilizing the potential of his Rune Seed, but was still unable to escape. On the contrary, due to excessive consumption, his own aura weakened at an accelerated rate, and he soon sank into the Law River. The Cloud Sea sect leader watched this scene, casting aside his last concern, and burned his runes with all his strength, utilizing the full potential of his Rune Seed. Burning wildly, all of the already scarce runes were consumed, causing the Rune Seed, filled with law runes, to gradually dim. However, he showed no signs of stopping. Giving up was impossible. At this point, certain death was determined, and letting go of everything to fight, even if it couldn't inflict heavy damage on the opponent, would thwart their plans. Gradually, as the Rune Seed waned, the power of the Cloud Sea sect leader reached its zenith. Breaking the limit, he reached the peak of the Rune Seed realm. Even though it was only a fleeting moment, it was indeed the peak of the Rune Seed realm, 2 small realms above Zhuang Ziyuan. Crack! A faint shattering sound echoed within the Golden Law River. If one could see with the naked eye, they would witness the vast Law River cracking like a mirror full of fractures, starting to shatter. Enduring the excruciating pain, the Cloud Sea sect leader burst out of the Golden River, attacking Zhuang Ziyuan with the last of his strength. However, before getting close, the already exhausted rune seed could no longer hold on, and it shattered instantly. Without the rune seed, the already fragile body collapsed, breaking apart like a piece of dried-up bark, turning into fragments that floated in the air. Zhuang Ziyuan watched this scene with a hint of disappointment. If he had been a bit faster, he wouldn't have let his opponent escape the confinement of the Luo River. Nevertheless, he could barely accept this outcome. Once this battle is over, I can find a secluded place to break through. Zhuang Ziyuan collected the runes, gazing into the distant sky. Just then, a vast and unfathomable power surged forth like a torrent, and then a golden palm, seemingly transcending time and space, covered the heavens and earth. Not only did he see it, but almost all of the demon suppression army's demon extermination generals and Morijin martial artists saw this enormous golden palm with horror on their faces. This immense power made even the Rune Seed Realm experts tremble in their hearts, not to mention the Gold Body Realm and lower martial artists. Chapter 369. Situ Donglei's Death. The truth about the origin liquid arc under this gigantic golden hand, Zhuang Ziyuan, whose combat power was almost at the peak of the Rune Seed Realm, felt extremely insignificant. The hard-earned will to resist was completely crushed by that immense power. Instantly, he prepared to activate the power of the Rune Seed and escape from this area with all his might. However, before he could do anything, an awe-inspiring figure arrived, with another golden palm reaching out, directly blocking the falling palm. The two palms clashed and an enormous force erupted, causing terrifying fluctuations that swept across the boundless battlefield in an instant. All the battles experienced a momentary pause, with everyone looking up at the sky where the terrifying fluctuations originated. Our sect leader has made a move. The strong fighters of the White Lotus sect were invigorated. The demon suppression army warriors and the martial artists of the Mo-Rijin side were also shocked as they looked at the other person. Heavenly-level demon extermination general, Wei Tianluan. The arrival of two peak Golden Core realm powerhouses instantly escalated the momentum of this battle to the extreme. Late Golden Core realm. In another section of the battlefield, after forcing his opponent to retreat, Dugu Yuan's eyes opened, and his face turned solemn as he looked in the direction of the source of the fluctuations. Although they were both true masters in Golden Core realm, there was a huge gap between the early and middle stage, and even more so between the middle and late stage. However, he quickly refocused his attention on the opponent in front of him. Great Elder of the White Lotus sect appeared already old and decrepit, but upon seeing the White Lotus sect leader make a move, he once again ignited an extremely strong fighting spirit. The sect leader has already come out, so the Saintess must have successfully broken through. With the Saintess combat power, she will be on par with the Middle Golden Core realm, so the current crisis can be resolved. Wei Tianluan. A deep and authoritative voice resounded from deep within the void, as layers of space shattered and golden light filled the sky. An awe-inspiring figure, also engulfed in golden mist, appeared in the void. Seeing the newcomer, Wei Tianluan stood with his hands behind his back, his figure enveloped in golden light appearing as divine as a god. Situ Sha, I advise you to hand over the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus quickly, otherwise you won't last long in my hands. Wei Tianluan said indifferently, his voice cold and full of oppressive killing intent. Even without the sacred artifact, you still can't do anything to me. The White Lotus sect leader, Situ Sha, slapped out with a palm, unleashing a torrent of runes that enveloped the heavens and the earth, vast and magnificent. Fine, let me see just how strong you really are. Wei Tianluan roared, as if the thunder of the 9 heavens exploding, a vast amount of golden light burst forth, causing everyone's eyes to sting. He reached out with a giant hand, vast and boundless. Within this giant hand there were mysterious runes, and stars were born, incredibly mysterious, causing one's heart to palpitate. Stars in the palm. Fighting against the supreme elder of the White Lotus sect, Ling Hu Dao drew in a breath of cold air. This was a great divine ability. Only heavenly-level demon extermination generals of the Demon Suppression Army were able to cultivate it. Furthermore, it could only be used by those who have reached an extremely profound level in the Golden Core realm, as it required a high degree of control over runes and utilization of Golden Core power. Even though he was already in the Middle Golden Core realm, he still didn't meet the requirements to cultivate this divine ability. Why didn't the sect leader use the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus? Supreme Elder Wan Lian of the White Lotus sect was somewhat puzzled in her heart. Could it be that the sacred artifact 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus is not on the sect leader? Suddenly, she seemed to have sensed something and revealed a solemn expression on her face. However, she quickly erased the doubts in her heart and her face returned to normal as she focused on dealing with Ling Hu Dao's attacks. The foundation of Morijin was far beyond what the White Lotus sect could compare to. Even in the same realm, her full strength was barely enough to deal with Ling Hu Dao's onslaught. On the other side, the first clash between Wei Tianluan and White Lotus sect leader Situ Sha took place. The stars in the palm, indeed befitting the title of top-tier Golden Core divine ability, came crashing down, with its tremendous power spreading out, accompanied by endless mist and the emergence of stars, displaying incredible might. In an instant, Situ Sha was engulfed by the endless stars. With a rumble, the earth trembled as 5 golden, massive fingers emerged from the void, each wrapped in runes and circulating Golden Core energy. They appeared within the endless mist and stars, like 5 colossal pillars, incredibly thick and large. Boom! The huge, mountain-like golden fingers slowly closed, enclosing and enveloping all the mists and stars. Even Wei Tianluan was about to be trapped by this closing gigantic palm. Witnessing this scene, Wei Tianluan remained motionless, standing in the void, allowing the palm world to descend upon him. However, just then, the stars within the mist began to explode one by one, emitting starlight, while the star power swirled around, exuding a terrifying suppressive force that resisted the gradually closing golden fingers. The golden fingers were about to close and form a world within the palm, resisting the powerful oppressive force emitting from the swirling stars. The terrifying scene they created made almost everyone's jaws drop in astonishment. Colossal golden fingers like pillars holding up the sky, and mist-shrouded stars filling the heavens. Such a thing couldn't have possibly appeared out of thin air. It was obviously the result of law runes and Golden Core power, far surpassing the level of Rune Seed Realm powerhouses. Boom! Situ Sha tried to escape from the stars. The 5 golden fingers closed in, attempting to break the stars in the palm divine ability. Chapter 370. Situ Donglei's Demise. The truth about the Origin Liquid Arc _2. However, Wei Tianluan was truly terrifying, and the divine abilities he used were even more horrifying. One after another, the stars revolved, with each one having law runes and the power of stars manifesting, and rotating in all directions. The suppressing power of the stars sealed a piece of void. An endless array of stars surrounded the golden giant palm, trying to suppress and refine it. The golden giant palm was Situ Sha, and Wei Tianluan was intent on suppressing his opponent with his divine ability, stars in the palm. One layer after another of starlight fell and poured onto the golden giant palm, turning it silvery before suppressing it. The White Lotus sect's Rune Seed Realm experts were all terrified beyond measure. Not to mention anything else, just the fluctuations from afar had already made them unable to muster any resistance. Moreover, in their hearts their sect leader, who was like a god, was suppressed within the stars, struggling with difficulty. If they were trapped in it, they would surely be crushed to powder in an instant, and not even a residue would be left behind. Could their sect leader have a chance of victory against such an invincible Golden Core divine ability, and such a tremendously powerful heavenly-level demon extermination general? With such doubts in their hearts, no one could answer them, and all they could see were the frenzied attacks from their opponents. Under the suppression of the stars in the palm, Situ Shah remained calm but serious, not showing any panic. He was the sect leader of the White Lotus sect and a true master in the late stage of the Golden Core realm. It was not possible for him to be easily suppressed. Seeing that he could not escape from the stars in the palm, he mobilized runes, used the power of his Golden Core, and swung his fists, concentrating his power to strike at the stars revolving around this piece of heaven and earth, one punch after another. A full-force blow from the late stage of the Golden Core realm might not be able to destroy the stars in the palm, this terrifying Golden Core divine ability, but shattering one of the stars was naturally not a big problem. As one after another star was shattered, the storms in the sky continued, the waves were relentless, golden runes and the river of star power surged, and the brilliance scattered. Situ Shah gradually revealed his figure, with his fighting spirits soaring and his killing intent imposing. "Bring the ding!" With a loud shout from Wei Tianluan, the stars in the palm disappeared, the mist dissipated, and a gigantic bronze ding appeared in the sky. The huge ding fell, and Situ Shah's expression changed, as his opponent had already hidden his treasure here while using the stars in the palm. And by now, he had just managed to break free from the stars in the palm. He was not completely exhausted, but his strength had been greatly damaged, and now he faced such a sudden attack. He was truly caught off guard. The sky trembled, and the bronze giant ding leisurely fell, as if a world had descended, capturing Situ Shah within it. Flames soared and the suppressing power surged. The ancient bronze ding transformed into a huge furnace, beginning to suppress and refine Situ Shah. Faced with such a sudden turn of events, the expressions of the White Lotus sect's Great Elder and Supreme Elder, these two Golden Core true masters, changed simultaneously. That ancient bronze ding was a famous existence even among the 100 sects. That was because it was one of the treasures of the once famous refining sect, the 100 Refinement sect, and it was considered a superior treasure, with unparalleled suppressing power. "Open!" With a loud shout from Situ Shah, there was a clang sound in the deep sky. The deep space trembled, and the clouds of 10,000 meters around the area were shaken apart. The huge bronze furnace violently shook. Wei Tianlun's figure swayed slightly. He slapped two golden rays of light onto the ancient bronze ding, making the flames inside even more intense and the suppressing power stronger. "Situ Shah, without the 9-turn pure heart White Lotus, there's no way you can escape from my azure profound demon-suppressing ding." Wei Tianlun's eyes were cold, his hands drawing runes, his Golden Core power surging. One after another star appeared, surrounding the huge ding and slowly rotating, reinforcing the suppressing power of the ding. Although the White Lotus sect's holy treasure, 9-turn pure heart White Lotus, was not a treasure for offense, it was still a superior existence among the treasure artifacts. If Situ Shah fought with it, even if he couldn't defeat Wei Tianluan, he wouldn't have been defeated so quickly. However, from the current situation, it seemed that Situ Shah did not carry the sect's holy treasure with him. While in the soaring flames, Situ Shah appeared calm and composed. He reached out his hand and a spiral-shaped treasure appeared in his hand. The treasure was covered in runes and emitted a dazzling light, trying to support the suppressive furnace that enveloped the sky. Boom! The force of the impact was tremendous, with the power of the spiral-shaped treasure, as if breaking open the sky, violently collided with the huge ding. The earth shook and the ensuing scene was astonishing. "You're just struggling in vain." Wei Tianlun's pupils opened and closed, his eyes shooting out beams of light. His hands continuously clapped, and a mysterious array of runes appeared. The revolving speed of the stars surrounding the azure profound demon, suppressing ding increased, the suppressing power became even stronger, and the space was sealed again. Immediately afterward, he waved his sleeve, and a fierce black wind entered the azure profound demon-suppressing ding. 9 black wind. A voice of surprise came from afar. The 9 Black Wind was a rune seed divine ability that Wei Tianluan had comprehended while in the rune seed realm. With the appearance of the Black Wind, mountains and rivers shattered. Most importantly, when used with the Azure Profound Demon Suppressing Ding, the 9 Black Wind could exhibit an unimaginable effect. As expected, when the 9 Black Wind poured into the Azure Profound Demon Suppressing Ding, the powerful shattering force acted upon Sidhu Shah's body, corroding his runes and golden core power. Moreover, under the effect of the 9 Black Wind, the flames within the furnace seemed to be stimulated by some mighty force, and their power instantly expanded to hundreds of feet high. The surging flames covered a vast expanse of the horizon. Sidhu Shah's eyes were intimidating as he stared at the pervasive flames and the suppressing furnace that filled the void. He reached out with his right hand, and a sacred white lotus emitted a radiant light, resisting the tearing and refining forces coming from all directions. Chapter 371 Sidhu Donglei's Demise. Yuan Liquid Chapter, The True Understanding _3, Just a Mere Projection, How Long Can You Last? Wei Tianluan looked at Sidhu Shah's movements within the giant ding, without much emotion in his heart. Even if the opponent were to summon the White Lotus Sect's sacred artifact, the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus, it would still take an unbearable price to escape from it. The projection was far behind the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus. It couldn't even block the 9 Black Wind for long, let alone the suppression and refinement power of the Azure Profound Demon Suppressing Ding. The Black Wind howled, the flames roared, ceaselessly bombarding the lotus throne bloomed with 8 petals. They collided, constantly exploding with dazzling light, and the rumbling sounds of collision echoed through the sky. Although the fluctuations caused by this battle were immense, overshadowing all the movements in the entire battlefield, it didn't have much to see. Because this was not a battle where they were evenly matched, Sidhu Shah was already at a disadvantage as soon as the battle started, and now he was completely suppressed in the Azure Profound Demon Suppressing Ding, having no power to fight back. Why hasn't my father used the 9-turn Pure Heart White Lotus? With a worried expression, Sidhu Donglei watched his father being suppressed within the copper ding while fighting fiercely with Hong Xingwu. Equal masters competing against each other required having their spirits, qi, and mentality highly concentrated. If they were slightly careless, their opponent would seize the opportunity, expanding their advantage and gradually taking control of the rhythm of the battle. At this moment, Hong Xingwu captured such an opportunity, and the gigantic magnetic giant peak plummeted down, nearly causing Sidhu Donglei's body to crumble as he was sent flying through the air. Sidhu Donglei, you dare to be distracted while fighting me, prepare to die. Hong Xingwu shouted as he manipulated the rune seed divine ability, Magnetic Giant Peak, to bombard his opponent. The magnificent falling giant peak exerted endless suppressing force on Sidhu Donglei's body, causing blood to splatter all over. Sidhu Donglei, worthy of being the White Lotus Sect's heavenly pride, still stood proudly even after suffering 2 consecutive ferocious and overbearing attacks, with his body nearly shattered. Perhaps this is your final stubbornness. If so, I'll respect you. Standing like a deity, Hong Xingwu stepped forward through the void with shimmering runes and unmatched strength. The magnetic giant peak suddenly expanded to twice its size, reaching 200 meters, and crashed down towards Sidhu Donglei's head. This time, Sidhu Donglei didn't resist, but looked deeper and deeper, casting his gaze towards the place where the vast and ancient bronze ding suppressed the world. In the end, he couldn't figure out why his father, the sect leader of the White Lotus sect, Sidhu Shah, didn't use the sacred artifact of the sect. Moreover, why had the demon, who had been competing with him for the position of sacred leader, never appeared throughout? Elsewhere, Lu Yun sat cross-legged at the summit of a 10,000-meter high peak. The spirit crystals in front of him were completely refined. The massive amount of heavenly and earthly spiritual qi flooded to him, continuously expanding his incredibly full essence C space. At this moment, although his essence C is still 99 meters deep, the scale of the pure yang aura origin had risen to several times its previous size. And now, it had not yet reached its limit, the pure yang aura origin kept increasing, and the golden essence sea slowly rose. Time passed slowly, and hours flew by in the blink of an eye. Finally, the golden essence sea made its last breakthrough, leaping from 99 meters to 100 meters deep. The vast, powerful essence sea was boundless. With each drop of it able to unleash terrifying power, it subtly washed over his body, expelling the last impurities and on the verge of completing the final transformation. In the golden body realm, both physical strength and body will undergo tremendous changes, on par with 6th-rank demon beasts. Moreover, their lifespan will increase to 200 years, completely breaking away from the category of ordinary martial artists. Chapter 372. The Fall of the True Master of the Golden Core Realm, the destruction of the White Lotus sect. At the peak of the 10,000 zhang, golden light shone brilliantly. The vast primordial sea faintly appeared, hovering above Lu Yun's head. The magnificent golden light, like a divine waterfall, protected Lu Yun within it. He sat cross-legged, gradually floating up, like a divine figure bathed in golden light. Suddenly, his eyes opened and a gleam of sharpness was revealed, like a white rainbow piercing through the void. A vast primordial sea, with 5 million jin of tremendous strength, this is perceived truth. Lu Yun suddenly stood up, standing in the void with his hands behind him, overlooking the mountains and rivers below him, feeling limitless pride in his heart. Throughout ancient times, there had never been a martial artist who could possess such a primordial sea and tremendous strength during the origin fluid realm. With the ultimate primordial sea and the supreme foundation, Lu Yun had the majestic aspiration to break through the heavens and engulf the mountains and rivers. Who can defeat me with the vast primordial sea in the perceived truth stage of the origin fluid chapter? Just then, a great rain of light suddenly sprinkled down from the sky, falling in all directions. Even Lu Yun, who was thousands of miles away, could feel the brilliance and beauty of the light rain. Did a true master of the Golden Core realm fall? Lu Yun rubbed his eyes in disbelief and confirmed the truth. Golden Core true masters stood at the pinnacle in both Morijin and the nearby seas, with their divine power being immeasurable. But now one had fallen. However, the question was which faction's Golden Core true master had fallen. At the present moment, the fall of the Golden Core true master from any faction would have a significant impact on the battle. Soon, cries of grief echoed throughout the world. According to these cries, Lu Yun knew that it was a Golden Core true master from the White Lotus sect who had fallen. The great elder of the White Lotus sect has fallen, and all this is the essence of his gold core, drawn from the heavens and earth, ultimately nourishing them back. If we can seize the opportunity and steal a part of this essence, it will be a great fortune for us. All the members of the Demon Suppression Army and Morijin martial artists roared, their eyes turning red as they looked at the light rain that drifted in all directions. Especially the peak powerhouses of the Golden Body Realm, who were only one step away from engraving runes. However, this last step had been holding them back for years, even decades, without being able to refine the runes. Once they obtain a part of the Golden Core essence and comprehend the insights within, their chances of engraving runes will be greatly enhanced. Besides, the Golden Core essence could greatly benefit the Rune Seed realm, allowing the powerhouses to further enhance the principles above their rune. If it weren't for the ongoing battle, they would all abandon their opponents and go chasing after the Golden Core essence. Great Elder! The people of the White Lotus sect wailed with grief. How could they not be saddened when one of their divine figures, the Great Elder who had been guarding the holy sect for hundreds of years, had died in a battle? In the end, their grief turned into boundless hatred and combat power. Kill your opponents and chase after the Golden Core essence. If you're lucky enough to obtain one, you'll save years of hard work. One by one, The demon suppression army guards and Morijin martial artists faced the White Lotus sect martial artists filled with hatred. Not only did they not fall under the enemy's storm, but they also stimulated even greater fighting spirit. Golden light rain fell, crystal clear and transparent, drifting through the mountains and rivers, nourishing all things. The plants and spiritual objects that were stained with the golden light rain underwent a subtle transformation. Moreover, the destruction of the mountains and rivers caused by large-scale battles had been restored due to the nourishment of the golden light rain. As long as there were 300 to 500 years, this devastated landscape would return to its original state. Boom! In the sky, a loud noise rang out, and the dazzling light burst forth, endless golden light rain falling. An independent martial cultivator who was in an intense battle was suddenly soaked by a drop of light rain and then soared in strength, ascending from the true Qi realm to the transforming origin realm. In another direction, a black-rank demon extermination general who had been at the peak of the golden body realm for more than a decade received a drop of light rain by chance and seemed to see the ocean of laws, a golden rune slowly taking shape. Haha! This is my first time witnessing the fall of a golden core true master. Next will be the final madness of the White Lotus sect. A disheveled, blood-stained golden body realm independent martial cultivator laughed heartily. The blood on him was not his own, but the traces left by the slain White Lotus sect powerhouses. Dugyuan watched the light rain that burst in front of him without trying to stop it. As a golden core realm power, the energy and insights contained within the opponent's golden core essence would not be of much use to him and would cause more harm than good. General Dugu, prepare to deal with the Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect next. We cannot let him escape, otherwise there will be endless trouble. In the void, a ripple emerged, faintly showing a huge figure bathed in golden light. If Lu Yun were here, he would certainly recognize this person as Master Chongkong, the Golden Core Realm Elder of the Origin Martial Academy, who had given them the Demon Extermination token in the past. Yes, the demise of the White Lotus sect's Great Elder might make them more cautious. Well, let them relax their guard, then strike suddenly with thunderous force. Dugyuan said solemnly. Every true master of the Golden Core Realm was extremely difficult to kill. Even for the initial stage Golden Core Great Elder of the White Lotus sect, he had gone through great lengths to trap him, which allowed Master Chongkong to make a thunderous strike and severely injure him. Only then could they work together to slay him. Your sect's Great Elder has fallen, and the White Lotus sect's demise is now a foregone conclusion. How much longer do you plan to struggle? Ling Hu Dao's voice was indifferent. The fall of a Golden Core True Master was different than the fall of someone at the Rune Seed Realm. Chapter 373 The Fall of the Golden Core Realm's True Master, the Destruction of the White Lotus Sect _2 in Morijin or within the 100 sects, True Masters of the Golden Core Realm represented an irreplaceable combat power. The White Lotus Sect had only 3 leaders who had reached the Golden Core Realm. A single true master of the Golden Core Realm could significantly influence the direction of the battle. Upon hearing this, the Supreme Elder's gaze hardened, without the slightest pause in his attack. As long as our sect leader is alive, the true outcome remains uncertain. Although he said this, a wave of shock surged within him. Even though Dugyuan was in the early stage of the Golden Core Realm, same as the Great Elder, his extraordinary combat power did not imply he could defeat the Great Elder easily. At the very least, escape was possible. However, the outcome was shocking. It hadn't been long before the fight began, yet the Great Elder had already fallen under the hand of Dugyuan, who was at the early stage of the Golden Core Realm. This result was both shocking and surprising to him. Could it be that Dugyuan has been hiding his true power and is actually in the middle stage of the Golden Core Realm, just like Ling Hu Dao? The moment this thought crossed his mind, a sense of unease overcame him. If that was indeed the case, what awaited him would not be favorable. He had already struggled to defend against Ling Hu Dao alone, and adding a presumed mid-stage Golden Core Realms Dugyuan, his fate wouldn't be much better than the already fallen Great Elder. However, if he decided to flee, it would strike an unprecedented blow to the White Lotus sect. At that point, even if he had survived, how could he face the elders of the past and the current sect leader currently persevering within the Azure Profound demon-suppressing Ding? Boom! A golden core as vast as a sun descended from the void, with Ling Hu Dao stepping forward, coming near the place in the void not far from the Supreme Elder of White Lotus sect. At this moment, it seemed as if he had merged completely with the golden core above him, a fearsome aura violently surging. His golden core power was vast, a boundless ocean of runes stirred, with laws intertwining within, creating interlocking patterns. On returning to the battlefield and sensing violent tremors, Lu Yun could not help but turn his head to look. Upon seeing the boundless ocean of runes, and the golden core like a sun, he was profoundly moved. Golden core! This was the first time he had seen a golden core. He had thought that a golden core was small and he could hold it in his hand. Now upon seeing it, it was like a colossal sphere, covered in runes, wrapped in the power of laws and radiating golden light. Although it was not as massive as a mountain range, the infinite power it emitted was far beyond comparison to that of a larger peak. In fact, the golden core that Ling Hu Dao had launched gave Lu Yun the impression of being an undeveloped microplanet. A golden core? The sight of the enormous golden core landing made the Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect change her expression slightly. A golden core, condensed by the energy, qi, and spirit of a golden core realm strongman, was the accumulation of a lifetime of cultivation. It was not only related to life, but also to Tao and hence of extreme importance. It was not easily revealed except in life-threatening situations. Once revealed, it signifies a duel to the death. Now the battle had reached a decisive moment, but it had not yet reached the point of life and death. However, Ling Hu Dao still presented his golden core. This level of decisiveness and courage was beyond her anticipation. Nevertheless, considering the disciples behind her and the holy sect she had stayed in for hundreds of years, she only hesitated a little before making up her mind. Immediately, a large golden core appeared in the void. With each step she took, a dense array of runes and intertwining laws were released, launching the golden core out, causing it to collide with Ling Hu Dao's golden core. The battle between the two had instantly turned into a collision of golden cores. The vast expanse of runes and the terror of the golden core's power filled the sky. Under the eyes of the powerful watching the fierce battle, they could see two giant golden suns chasing and colliding with each other in the void to their naked eyes. The supreme power that burst forth with each collision overpowered all. The golden core was the trump card of a true master of the golden core realm. A fight between golden cores was the most dangerous conflict between true masters of the golden core realm. If one side's golden core were at a disadvantage, their laws and golden core power would be weakened, ultimately leading to defeat. This defeat means the destruction of both the person and the core, a true annihilation. The clashes between true masters of the golden core realm would not easily escalate to this level, but this was a great war, a war of life and death, and there was no room for any party to hesitate. Suddenly, on both sides of Wan Lian, the Supreme Elder of the White Lotus sect, a ray of golden light appeared out of nowhere. The golden light pierced through layers of resistance, emitting grand power, and two large golden cores fell down. These two golden cores, whether compared with Wan Lian or Ling Hu Dao's golden core, were much smaller. The diffused runes and intertwined laws were weaker, and the power of the golden core was inferior. Nevertheless, these were two sun-like golden cores, possessing supreme power, with the potential to influence the battle between her and Ling Hu Dao. Your golden core is destined to perish. You too will be demolished. Dugyuan and Master Chongkong each launched their attack from their respective direction, simultaneously using their golden cores to suppress Wan Lian. In addition to Linghu Dao's vast golden core, a total of 3 giant golden cores swiftly fell down towards the space where Wan Lian and her golden core were located. This scene made Wan Lian's expression grim. "I didn't expect you to hide a golden core expert. But if you want to destroy me, it won't be that easy." While she spoke, the white sacred lotus beneath her feet, with 8 blooming petals, flew out and landed on top of the golden core. The 2 auras faintly merged, releasing an even more dazzling light. Immediately afterward, visible in the deep void, 4 huge golden suns collided. Chapter 374 The True Master of the Golden Core Realm falls, the White Lotus Sect is defeated, 3 The Sea of Runes swept across, colliding with interwoven laws and integrating the powerful energies of the golden cores, which caused illusional ripples to constantly spread and vanish. I didn't expect Morijin to have concealed a golden core true master. No wonder the great elder fell so quickly. It's probably related to this hidden golden core true master. The powerful beings of the White Lotus sect were all looking grave at this moment. They, the holy sect, didn't have any advantage against those of the golden core realm. Now, with the great elder fallen and an extra golden core realm true master on the enemy side, it means they now have 4 golden core realm true masters, while their holy sect only has 2 golden core realm powerhouses left: the sect leader and the supreme elder. How could 2 stand against 4? Even if you sacrifice the offspring of the 9-turn pure heart White Lotus, it could at best increase your golden core power by 2 or 3 times. How can you withstand the power of our 3 golden cores? Linghu Dao said with a mild smile. With a thought, his massive golden core released tremendous power, forming a golden river with infinite might. At the same time, Dugyuan and Master Chongkong also stimulated their golden core power, each forming a golden river. The triple golden rivers, when combined, significantly boosted their dominance. Boom, boom, boom. The tenuous equilibrium that had been maintained was broken in an instant. Wan Lian's massive golden core, as if it had suffered a heavy blow, began to shake directly. The sea of runes was swept away, the interwoven laws crumbled, and there appeared faint cracks on this golden core. Determined to destroy me by leveraging the innate power of the golden core, what a colossal resolution! Wan Lian's face completely darkened, showing a touch of terror. She was willing to fight with her golden core, but using the intrinsic power of the golden core frightened her. Once she used the hidden power of the golden core, she would have no room for recovery. Not even the offspring of the sacred item could be saved from being sacrificed. Upon seeing Linghu Dao and the others tapping into the core power of their golden cores, Wan Lian realized she had no chance of winning this battle. If she fell, the disciples of the White Lotus sect would have no chance to escape. Right away, she shattered the law runes on her golden core and exploded the remaining energy of the sacrificed sacred offspring. In a flash, a tremendous storm swept across, and numerous droplets of illumination fell down. Exploiting part of the explosive power of the golden core, Wan Lian managed to escape from the circle formed by Linghu Dao and the others. Now, with the sect leader's whereabouts unknown and the saintess missing, we can no longer protect you. Wan Lian sighed, addressing all the disciples of the White Lotus sect. The holy sect nurtured me, and I protected it for hundreds of years. From now on, I won't be able to keep protecting the sect, it's all up to you. At her words, all members of the White Lotus sect cried out in sorrow. No matter what their initial motivations were for joining the sect, or if they endured oppression within the sect, every face now showed despair. Under the protection of the sect and the Supreme Elder, they all held status within the 100 sect, regardless of their strength. If the Supreme Elder fell or the sect fell, who could protect them, and where would they find a haven? Let alone whether they could pass this tribulation at this very moment. Just then, runes fell from the sky like seeking hosts, landing on the fighting disciples of the White Lotus sect. Subsequently, the disciples were scooped up by the runes and quickly fled. Chapter 375 Wan Lien Falls, Full-Scale Pursuit. The runes I've imbued your bodies with should be enough to let you escape the battlefield to a distance of thousands of miles. Flee with all your might. As this voice fell, Wan Lien, the supreme elder of White Lotus sect, a Golden Core realm midstage expert, her body shattered in the air like a fragmenting mirror. She was not killed by the joint effort of Ling Hu Dao and his two companions, nor did she self-destruct, but chose a method of self-dissolution. At the same time, on the fierce battlefield, some of the White Lotus sect disciples who had integrated with the runes transformed into streaks of light and quickly disappeared from the battleground. This move signified the complete collapse of the White Lotus sect. Upon seeing this, the remaining White Lotus sect experts started fleeing in earnest, retreating toward the periphery of the battlefield. However, retreating won't be so easy for them. Ling Hu Dao withdrew his golden core and stood calmly in the sky, his golden eyes surveying the entire battlefield. His majestic voice reached every demon suppression army soldier and martial artist of Morijin. Issue my command. Kill the remaining White Lotus sect scum to the last man. We shall leave no more troubles. After he spoke, his gigantic figure wreathed in golden light surged forward, taking the initiative to slay the fleeing White Lotus sect rune seed realm experts. A terrifying golden palm, filled with a boundless majestic power, caused the White Lotus sect rune seed realm expert to change his expression. He wanted to resist, but against the attack of a Golden Core realm expert, he simply couldn't. There was no time to dodge. With space locked down and the suppressive force descending, that horrifying power smashed directly onto his body, shattering his flesh and exploding his rune seed. Blood rained down everywhere. The next instant, Master Chongkong and Heavenly-level demon extermination General Duguyuan also launched their attack. Golden Core realm experts slaughtering rune seed realm experts were like crushing ants. On the other side, while the White Lotus sect was collapsing and fleeing, the battle in the depths of the sky was still ongoing, but outsiders could no longer see the ongoing scene within it. Only a faint outline could be seen. Wei Tianlun's huge figure sitting on the azure profound demon-suppressing ding, remaining motionless. As the White Lotus sect leader, one of the top experts among the 100 sects, Sidhu Shah would not be easily subdued and refined. He was still resisting silently. Or rather, he was restraining Wei Tianluan, a top Golden Core realm combatant. On the battlefield, there were no more White Lotus sect Golden Core realm true masters left. The Rune Seed realm experts were preoccupied with their own survival, and Lu Yun finally made his move again. His target was still the Gold Body realm experts below the half-step Rune Seed realm. After searching for a moment, his target locked onto a Gold Body realm later-stage expert who was caught up by a black-rank demon exterminator. "It's you!" With a soft cry, Lu Yun's figure disappeared in the distance. Immediately after, in the next instant, he reappeared at that battlefield. The vast primordial sea surged, and with a flick of his finger, space trembled. Streaks of extreme light sped out, sometimes resembling dragons and snakes, a vermilion bird or a white tiger. In the end, it transformed into a golden star and crashed down with a resounding boom. At the same time, the Gold Body realm later-stage martial artist enveloped by the formless tribulation finger changed color drastically. He wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. Under the cover of the formless tribulation finger, his body was bound by a terrifying force. In less than half a breath, extreme light pierced through his body. This Gold Body realm later-stage expert was submerged in the extreme light. By the time the extreme light vanished, he had completely lost his vitality. His flesh had a massive gaping wound. Once again unleashing the formless tribulation finger, the display of power greatly exceeded Lu Yun's expectations. The black-rank demon exterminator was stunned. He looked at the White Lotus sect expert who had collapsed before him, and then at Lu Yun, who had suddenly appeared. He shouldn't have given up his prey, and he shouldn't have given up his spoils. But now, he couldn't bring himself to mind. The strong opponent he had fought for so long was killed with a casual flick of a finger by Lu Yun. Moreover, the finger that pierced the sky had just flown past him. At first, he even thought the finger was aimed at him. In that moment, he doubted whether he would die under that terrifying power. Such strength was even more terrifying than that of a half-step Rune Seed Realm expert. Even compared to a true Rune Seed Realm expert, there might not be much difference. "Thank you, General." Lu Yun bowed slightly, and then, in front of the other, collected the Sumi ring left behind by the White Lotus sect Gold Body Realm expert. He wiped away the imprint, looked over it briefly, and revealed a satisfied expression. Then, he started looking for his next target again. He used the same technique, thrusting a finger from a distance. In just a dozen breaths, another Gold Body Realm martial artist perished completely. The Morijin martial artists and demon suppression army experts who had their kills stolen by Lu Yun halfway wore complex expressions. They wanted to say something, but when the words reached their lips, they couldn't speak a word. The terrifying strength displayed by Lu Yun and his youthful appearance were a deterrent for anyone. Losing a kill wasn't important, but offending a monster-like genius at the level of a saint child would be more than anyone could bear. Moreover, if Lu Yun didn't take action, they might not have been able to take down their opponents in such a short time, and it was even questionable if they could have held them off at all. In truth, Lu Yun didn't want to act so ostentatiously. However, the fleeing experts of the White Lotus sect were being watched by the Demon Suppression Army soldiers and Morijin martial artists. It wouldn't be easy for him to act in a straightforward manner if he wanted to quickly earn demon extermination points and spoils from the battlefield. Of course, Lu Yun wasn't the arrogant type. He wouldn't interfere if it was evident that someone could easily overpower or was about to kill their opponent. He would only step in if it was clear that someone was lacking in strength, or the outcome was hard to determine between the opponents in a short time. So, Lu Yun rushed through the battlefield, defeating one Golden Body Realm expert after another. His demon extermination points on the demon extermination token were approaching the 20,000 mark. However, as the White Lotus sect collapsed, more and more experts fled the battlefield, scattering in all directions. Despite Lu Yun's incredible speed, he could only pursue in one direction. Run! With one elder after another from the White Lotus sect being killed, the sect's members were chilled to the bone. They secretly resented that the Supreme Elder had not provided them with runes or allowed them to leave the battlefield earlier before he died. Soldiers of the Demon Suppression Army, as well as the martial artists of Morijin, advanced, stepping on the corpses of the White Lotus sect members. Along the way, there were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. The White Lotus sect experts, who had once been so proud, now had their arrogance shattered. With the successive fall of the powerful sect members, they now fled in complete disarray. Lu Yun, clad in a purple-black star robe, swept through them like a demon, creating thunderous booms. His golden yuan high engulfed everything like a tidal wave, exploding everything in its path. Since he couldn't find suitable targets, Lu Yun lowered his standards and began to mercilessly hunt down White Lotus sect members at the Origin Fluid Realm and below. He had become accustomed to life and death. Having reached the 7th level of the 5th rank in the slaughter conception, he showed no mercy or hesitation as he executed one attack after another. His attacks seemed to blend life and death, causing vast numbers of White Lotus sect martial artists to fall. In this moment, he seemed to transform into an unparalleled killing god, his face cold and calm. With one movement, 9 colossal golden swords flew out, forming a golden sea that drowned the entire mountainous region, making it impossible for the people caught within to escape. Even those Origin Fluid Realm martial artists flying close to the ground could not avoid their fate. Witnessing Lu Yun's demonic arrival, the hair on the heads of the remaining White Lotus sect martial artists stood on end. Was this the extent of an Origin Fluid Realm martial artist's power? How could it be so terrifying? Even the absolute limit of the Origin Fluid Realm didn't possess such daunting might. This young man, who was even younger than some of them, stood in a world beyond their reach, a seemingly divine existence. They simply could not compete, the gap between them was too wide. Even if they exhausted all their methods, they would not be able to survive. Run quickly! Only a peak Golden Body Realm expert can fight against this young Demon King. We are not his match. Desperately fleeing for their lives, the White Lotus sect martial artists saw streaks of golden light flying towards them, each one taking countless lives. Those soldiers of the Demon Suppression Army, and the martial artists from Morijin who had followed Lu Yun were all dumbfounded by the sight of him slaughtering the sect members without any trace of mercy. It was bad enough that he had snatched kills from other Golden Body Realm experts, but now he didn't even leave them the smallest fries, simply infuriating. However, these complaints could only be buried deep in their hearts, and they could only watch as Lu Yun marched on with overwhelming dominance, reaping the demon extermination points that should have been theirs. Pfft. One by one, the Origin Fluid Realm and Transforming Origin Realm martial artists fell, their blood splattering on the ground as their bodies lay sprawled across plains and forests. No one could stop Lu Yun's advance. At this moment, two powerful presences from the Golden Body Realm appeared, attempting to stop Lu Yun. "You've arrived just in time," Lu Yun roared, his yuan high raging, and the golden light flooded the sky. His right hand was clenched into a fist while his left hand pointed. Like the sun hanging high in the sky, the colossal fist and extreme light directly caused the two White Lotus sect Golden Body Realm experts to fall. In a blink of an eye, he snatched their Sumi rings and checked his demon extermination token, seeing the demon extermination points had reached 23,000. After killing several hundred White Lotus sect martial artists at the Origin Fluid Realm or below, he had barely gained 1,000 to 2,000 demon extermination points. But killing two Golden Body Realm experts instantly earned him around 2,000 points. From this, it was clear that if one wanted to gain a massive amount of demon extermination points, they could only kill the more powerful enemies. Unfortunately, experts at Golden Body Realm and above were not easy to come by, especially after an intense battle where many had fallen. Furthermore, with the complete collapse of the White Lotus sect, the remaining experts were scattered and difficult to encounter. Now that I've reached the limit of the Origin Fluid Realm, I must prepare for the Golden Core Realm. I also need to practice the Great Sun Golden Body, which will require a vast amount of resources in the future. After pondering for a while, Lu Yun continued to pursue and kill his fleeing targets. The further he chased, the greater the danger he encountered. However, with the White Lotus sect on the verge of complete defeat and the Demon Suppression Army and Morijin's martial artists in hot pursuit, even if he encountered a stronger opponent, he would only need to hold on for a short while before receiving assistance. Taking this into account, he laid his concerns to rest. Not long after, he caught up with a Golden Body Realm late-stage expert, who he defeated with a few swift punches. With a strength equivalent to 5 million pounds and his vast 100 feet yuan heist power, an average late-stage Golden Body Realm expert could not withstand his attack. After chasing thousands of miles outside the battlefield, he encountered a peak Golden Body Realm expert. Within a few breaths, the void trembled, and an unwilling roar echoed across the region. Immediately, a seriously injured expert who had been struck out of the air fell from the sky. A streak of lightning flashed by in an instant. Even peak Golden Body Realm experts can't withstand more than a few moves from him now? Watching Lu Yun's swift departure, Lei Kang's eyes sparkled with a touch of amusement. While pursuing the remnants of the defeated White Lotus sect, Lei Kang also chose to pursue in the same direction as Lu Yun for some reason. Finally, he witnessed the events that had just unfolded. Moreover, judging by Lu Yun's battle prowess, Lei Kang, who had condensed a mid-grade rune seed, felt a vague sense of danger. When we return to the martial academy, I wonder what the master will think when he hears about Lu Yun's strength, Lei Kang murmured to himself before hurrying after Lu Yun.